live. Hello, and welcome.
Welcome
to the Lateral.
To the Lateral, episode 69.
No, this isn't episode 69. We are here live, reacting to the 2017 NFL Draft. We are just about to get started. We're watching draft coverage on TV, and we're going to give you our professional, non-professional, obviously, reaction kind of to the draft and as it goes. And it'll be a fun time, for those who aren't interested necessarily in watching the various TV streams of the draft and want to see.
I'm actually one of those people.
Just want to see, our reactions to the draft itself. But I mean, there's a lot of different things to kind of monitor of what's going on. The Browns obviously sit at number 1 overall. And the thinking really before the last couple of weeks was it was Myles Garrett, the defensive end from Texas A&M, all the whole time until some rumors kept popping up the last few days that Mitchell Trubisky, the quarterback from North Carolina, could be the guy there. Now those rumors have died down. It looks like Myles Garrett will be the guy at number 1 overall. However, rumor has it that if Trubisky is available around 5 or so, the Browns will trade up from number 12 to try and take him. So that's going to be something to monitor. And for those of you who are watching on our various streams, make sure to ask us questions and leave comments and whatever, and we'll interact with you as best as we can. We have a Ravi as our producer, so he'll be...
Don't use his real name. He doesn't like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're Mr. Producer.
Our Master P. Funk.
John the Hindu.
Actually, I have a question for you, real quick. So, how big of a strategy leading up to draft time is misdirection?
That's huge.
How often are teams leaking information to try and throw people off who they want and where they want to draft them?
I think that's a huge part of what the draft actually is, because the thing with it is you want to get your guys at the spot, and unless you have one of these top picks, it's going to be hard. And you want your guys to fall to you and things like this and things like that. So I think that's a huge part of it. One of the best draft stories I ever remember was in 2008 when the Patriots had, I think it was the 7th overall pick from a trade they made with the 49ers the year before. So they were at number 7. And they leaked out to the media, to everyone, that they were really interested in Vernon Gholston. And the Jets were right before them. And they're like, the Patriots are interested? Well, we're going to take Vernon Gholston. Now, Vernon Gholston was an epic bust.
Right.
He never even recorded a sack.
Oh, my God.
The Patriots ended up trading down, gathering more first-round picks, and took a linebacker known as Gerard Mayo at 10 overall.
So they had absolutely no interest in him, or did they actually do it, and the Jets just took him, and we got lucky?
I bet they were interested.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, Mayo was the guy that they wanted.
Interesting.
Not Gholston.
Yeah.
So the Patriots, Nick Caserio also had a really good nugget for the Patriots. He said they have about 50 to 75 players with draftable grades on their board, which is a tiny draft board. And we've heard rumors about this before, but this is really our first indication that they have such a small draft board. And some people were kind of shocked, because then you hear some other GMs.
It was like a deep draft,
who
right?
were like, oh, we got 300 players with draftable grades.
See, that's why those teams fail.
But there's a difference. The Patriots, when they evaluate players, they're evaluating them to their system with certain traits and how they would work. So these are guys that they feel comfortable with, 50 to 75 guys that could come on their team and contribute in some way. Special teams, defense, offense, early downs, late downs, nickel situations, jumbo package, 5 wide, whatever it may be. So right now we have the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, going up to the podium now to announce that the draft has started. Every pick has 15 minutes. Yeah, that's correct. So, our producer just asked how they're doing. Yes, Roger Goodell is very disliked, and he loves to bring it on because the man makes $34 million a year. So,
and his employers love him.
Absolutely, he's made the NFL a lot of money.
I like that Jets fan over there.
I think it was a Phillies fan. It was the classic Phillies.
Oh, the classic. That makes sense. It's in Philly. How much time is there between picks in the first round? This is 4 hours long, but it's only one round, so...
This is So the NFL made a little different format. They made the first round prime time. 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I think it's 15 minutes between each pick. It might be 10.
It should be 30 seconds.
But we'll see.
I'm kidding. Just so you know, we also have game 6 of the Toronto-Milwaukee game up on our computer. So we'll probably be coming on that every now and then. But the focus is on the draft, unfortunately.
The focus is always on the draft.
I hate the draft.
Great. It's a great
just so you know, just so people realize, Arjuna, this is Arjuna's Christmas, apparently. There's no other day in the calendar year, not even the Super Bowl, not even his own birthday.
Obviously, I enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but this is number 1, apparently. It's Christmas.
This is good. I mean, it's also cool this year. I got to go to the Combine in Indianapolis and got to see all those guys and obviously do a lot of research on especially the top guys, obviously. So that was definitely cool, and it's a little bit of a different insight this year. I would have loved to have gone to the draft, and that's still a goal one day. Go to one of these.
As a fan.
One of these bad boys. Yeah, definitely as a fan. I'd love to go to the Combine as a fan, too. I went to the Combine in a working capacity. This, what was it, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
2 months ago? I don't know. 1 month ago?
It was like last week.
The days blend.
I'm just kidding.
It was. It was at the, it was the beginning of March. We're at the end of April, so it was almost 2 months ago.
Oh, look at them in there. Where are those war rooms?
So it's 10 minutes. It is 10 minutes for each pick. Yep, this is the War Room right now on NFL Network. They are showing the the Browns War Room.
They've got 8.5 minutes left.
It's going to be Myles Garrett, most likely, barring a surprise now.
Oh yeah, let me bring up our mock draft. I should have it on here.
Yeah. So for those of you who are fans of Lateral, Krishna and I earlier in the week, was it Monday? We did a mock draft of the first round, and so Krishna's going to kind of pull up his the mock that we did for our Lateral show, and we're going to see how accurate we were. There's
text what?
The draft.
Our mock draft?
Mm-hmm.
I can send the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Share the spreadsheet?
Yeah, Krishna's going to send the mock draft to our producer, who will try and show a visual of it. We'll see how close or how inaccurate we are. But this draft is really going to come down to the quarterbacks. It's especially at the beginning and the end of this round. You know, are the quarterbacks going to go early? And are they going to go late? Because you know some of them's going to go. Some are going to go because of that 5th round option you get if you're a first round pick. Other than that, you know, it's just going to be, you know, I think a traditional first round of where there will be runs. You know, there'll be a run at safeties. There'll be a run at DNs. There'll be a run at wide receivers. There'll be a run at running backs at some point. So you kind of have to see where the run's going to be. Some guys are going to drop. Some guys are going to go higher than you could expect.
So yeah, it looks like Arjuna had the Browns pick. He picked Myles Garrett, the defensive end. Your former co-worker here?
Yep, Daniel
agrees with you.
Or I agree with him, probably.
No, Tuna. You know, you're the expert. He just copied you.
Nope. Well, he's the professional scout.
You are a professional Arjuna.
Shout out to the NFL Network. They have a new draft package for the draft.
Is it good?
It's really sponsor us.
Shout out to our Mr. Producer and his sponsor, Lucy and Oz Cat Feed.
Also, shout out to this awesome Stormtrooper gun that I'm just going to hold up randomly during points.
You should shake it when you have there's a pick that you're ready. Now, I have a question for you, Christian, before this first pick is kind of turned in, as the Browns are still on the clock. Do you think, now the Patriots, we're obviously Patriot fans, they do not have a first-round pick. They don't have a second-round pick. We talked about it on the Lateral, but do you think they make a trade at some point tonight and get back into the first round?
I would be shocked. I think they only have 5 picks, and they'd have to give out more than one, I assume, to move up into the first round. And they've always been a franchise, it seems to me, that values volume, like having a lot of picks. And so I find it hard to imagine them moving up.
I think I could see it actually happening. because they have such a deep roster. They have a lot of roster
That's
spots
a good
already
point.
taken care of. If there's someone that they like that's dropping, I could see them trying to trade in, just get a valuable piece. They don't need a lot of draft picks. They have youth. They have locked-in stars. Excuse me. They have a pretty deep roster so far. So I think
That's true.
I think I could potentially see something like that, but we shall see.
For the first time of our draft coverage here on NFL Network, fresh off the field, one of the goats of the National
I was going to ask a question because it's Steve here.
Yeah, go for it.
Predictions in terms of its number 1, 2, 3, and so forth.
Yeah.
Is that in terms of
That's the pick number. That's the pick number. So 1 through 32. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. So you can see the Patriots desk actually in the shot at the NFL Network, and the guy at there is just like reading a magazine.
That tells me they're not doing anything this round.
Interesting. They have a secondary desk here in the museum with Steve Mariucci, Steve Smith, Charles Davis.
I probably shouldn't chew into the mic, huh?
Probably not your best idea there. So
Hey, you're welcome.
Browns are still on the clock. Still have a ways to go. Oh, we might have them checking in. We might have them checking in. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, we'll see.
For all of you basketball fans, it's approaching halftime, and Toronto, who leads the series 3-2, is up 49-38, now 51-38 over Milwaukee.
Pick is in. The pick is in, and we
Oh,
have
nice.
our predictions right now on the screen. You can see it. You can see it there. Like Krishna said, I had Myles Garrett as my number 1 pick. The Browns have the pick in. We're gonna see if I was correct or not. Hopefully, I'm pretty confident.
A lot's riding on this picture.
I'm pretty
If
confident
you're
it's
wrong,
gonna be Myles.
you're going to throw off the entire board, and we're all.
I mean, that's what happens. I mean, mock drafts are meant to be broken.
Whoa.
Cool thing about the draft in Philly, they actually set up on the Rocky Steps. So
Oh, really?
where they're set up, you can actually see those are the
Dude, can we see a statue?
steps.
The
statue
most
is
famous
further
fake
down.
sports statue ever?
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. That's Philadelphia, I guess, right?
Yeah. They threw Skittles at Santa Claus, right?
This draft is already taking too long.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. How are you going to survive 5 hours of this? Well, you know what? That's the sacrifice Arjuna has made to you. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep.
Now, some of the usual teams that for quarterbacks have been thrown around. Obviously, the Browns, the Texans,
49ers.
the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Bears, the Jets. Do you see any team outside that realm that could potentially take one of these
That's
passers in the first
That's a great
round?
question, actually. Let me.
Especially late. You have the Steelers and the Giants,
Yeah.
late, both with aging quarterbacks. Could they be interested? I think in the mock later in the thing, and as you'll see later on. I think
here we go.
have
Here's
that.
the pick.
And our first pick is in.
All right,
Myles
there we
Garrett
go.
is the
All
number
right,
one
so we
overall
held
pick.
up.
Just like we had predicted. That is a green check mark. Arjuna 1, Krishna 0.
That's not fair. You had the first overall pick. After this, it could go completely haywire.
I think you're wrong.
I think I'm right. But so no surprise there. And if we're looking, if you are not seeing the TV, Cleveland is clearly very happy, or the fans, I should say, very happy with that pick. Myles Garrett, Jr. Tell us a little bit about him, huh?
I mean, Myles Garrett's just a freak. He's a freak of nature in terms of his athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
He has it all. Very high pedigree. Very athletic guy. Now, there is some concern, with athletic guys a lot of the time.
Tearing a hip flexor.
Well,
Achilles.
not even that. And the college
Yeah.
tape is good. It's not great though. There are times where he disappears, like every pass rusher, every defensive end. Kind of reminds me almost like a Chandler Jones,
Okay.
a rich man's Chandler Jones, in terms of freak of nature, but can sometimes appear to be bored, can sometimes appear to maybe not be interested. Take it with a grain of salt because it's Warren Sapp, but Warren Sapp, who is a Hall of Fame, NFL player, ripped Myles Garrett completely, saying that, he just didn't see. He saw a player that was lazy and took plays off. So it was definitely an interesting counter argument, and there's been a lot of praise for him. But as we know, being the number 1 overall pick, there's a lot of pressure. Now he's officially the face of the Cleveland Browns, whether he likes it or not. And there's going to be a lot of expectations for him to turn that defense around. Because the defense has some pieces. They have Joe Hayden at corner. They have Joe Hayden at corner. So
They have some pieces. They have one.
I
like it.
They do. They have some young pieces on defense. And, with this, they have plentiful picks in this draft that they'll be able to, I'm sure, take some more defensive pieces and really turn it around. But it's interesting because that the expectations can sometimes get to you. We've seen many number 1 overall pick busts.
Yeah. More busts than not, I would say, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's an issue. Actually, Ravi had a great question for us before while you were out.
Yeah.
What percentage of players drafted today or tomorrow or the day after? What percentage of them will still be in the league in 3 years? My guess was 80% of them will be out of the league in 3 years.
It's not that high. Actually, I watched a segment where Charlie Cashley had the numbers, and it's a 75% success rate of starters within 4 years in the first round. Like 60%. Whoa, we got a trade.
Whoa, that's it? The draft board is ruined.
It's ruined.
You might as well never show that draft board again, Ravi.
The Chicago Bears have traded up. They were number 3. They are now at the number 2 pick. So the 49ers have traded down. They've either swapped picks, which would be most likely, or the Bears are picking back-to-back somehow. But I don't believe it.
What did they trade?
So what are the Bears moving up for? Maybe it's Solomon Thomas.
Krishna originally at number 2 had predicted Solomon Thomas to go
To 49ers, yeah.
to the 49ers. Now Chicago is there. They could also use Solomon Thomas.
Would I get half
if he
a
goes
point?
number 2.
Would I get half a point?
I think that should be a full point. I
Nice.
mean, we didn't predict trades, so
Yeah,
but I would
right.
say with the order,
Yeah.
you're still kind of correct. So
Right.
that would be interesting.
The Bears, interesting. Are you surprised by this move?
I
not terrible. It
always
doesn't
find
seem
it
terribly surprising.
interesting when teams like move up one spot. Now Chicago, and they talked about it just on the network coverage. You move up one pick because you're scared that someone else is going to trade with that second pick to go get the player that you want.
Right.
So, part of me feels like, could it be a quarterback?
Yeah.
Could it be a quarterback?
And
that's taken
Chicago
here?
certainly needs one, right?
They did sign Mike Glennon to a 3-year deal, so they wouldn't need one immediately. But if they feel like, again, the wide belief in the draft is that a lot of these quarterbacks could be good, but they all need some time to develop.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Going back to your previous question though about the starters, it's not a lot, and especially as you go lower in the rounds, obviously more players flame out. Out of the league in 3-4 years. So, and some drafts are better than others. I mean, the 2013 NFL draft, I think we talked about in the lateral, really bad, right? But then like the 2011 draft is one that's loaded with potential Hall of Famers already. So I think you just have some years that are more talented than others. This draft seems to be one that's trending in the right direction for a good amount of talent.
Especially for defense, huh?
Right. But my last point I wanted to make about the number 1 overall pick before this second pick overall is made is, it's a high
High risk,
also, we
high
have
reward.
what came in. So the Bears moved up 1, and then the 49ers received the 3rd overall pick, an extra 3rd, an extra 4th, and a 2018 third-round pick.
Good job, San Francisco.
That's a great bounty from San Francisco.
You won.
I mean, so clearly Chicago liked someone a lot here, and they really wanted them. They felt like San Francisco was either going to take them, or someone was trading up to take them.
What does your gut tell you right now that Chicago does? I say Solomon Thomas, just so I can be right.
Solomon Thomas seems logical because a lot of these teams do need.
Is he a
premier
game
pass
changer to give
rushers.
up 4 picks like that? Doesn't seem like he would be.
I mean, according to whoever Chicago is going to take, yes. Part of me does feel like it could be a quarterback, though.
Trubisky?
Could be Mitchell Trubisky. He's been the hot name that's really risen. I'm not a big fan of Mitchell Trubisky at all.
You have a personal vendetta
Besides
against
the
man.
personal vendetta, I just think he reminds me a lot of Ryan Tannehill. Very little college production. He only had 16 starts, I think.
Ryan Tannehill is a top 16 quarterback.
Yeah, that's not good.
That is good. He might be top 10, actually. He might be like 10th. I'm not sure.
So it'd be interesting to see. Ian Rappaport is right now talking about how Solomon Thomas is a guy that he's interested in, so maybe he's
So
the
it's
guy.
high on the Chicago draft board. Pick is in.
I think it's Charles Barkley.
This is the best interior pass rusher. This is not being biased. This is watching the film. This guy gets off the ball. He's quick. He's relentless. He's a game changer from the inside.
And Coach, he hasn't been picked yet, but
It's a kicker.
If it was a kicker at number 2 overall, that would be incredible.
What do they know that nobody else does?
Wait, to take a kicker?
Yeah, take a kicker, yeah. It would have to be a kicker who can kick field goals from 90 yards.
Be interesting. Would be interesting. Now, here's an interesting scenario.
Oh, here comes the pick.
Well, we got the pick.
Raj is approaching the podium.
But yeah, a lot of these top picks, they become the faces of their franchise, and it can be tough. And we got the pick.
the Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky.
Wow, there it is. So
Damn.
it's Mitchell Trubisky. It is the quarterback. And my gut was right.
Way
for
too
once.
high.
Oh, absolutely, way too high. And this is a complete panic move by Chicago. That is interesting because Mike Glennon is the clock ticks, and you saw it last year happen. Number 1 overall, Jared Goff. Number 2 overall, Carson Wentz. And even Goff didn't start the year as a starter. He started as a third stringer actually.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of pressure for him to start, and because he wasn't there. And the same thing's going to happen with Chicago now for a pretty inexperienced quarterback that needs a lot of polishing, in my mind. So Mike Glennon, anything he does is not going to be good enough. And then if Trubisky comes in too early, you can really stunt the guy. And you think back to so many quarterbacks that's happened to.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting pick. This is an interesting thing to do, and I'm not shocked. And now we're going to see the dominoes start to fall.
Yeah.
For the quarterback position.
You
I do
so?
think San Francisco is going to stick with their draft board, though, because they were willing to move back 1 pick. I don't think they were as in love with the quarterback.
I mean, if you're giving up that much, it has to be for probably the most important position on the field, right? So they must have known.
Right.
We don't want Trubisky, but these guys just made us the godfather off.
And everyone's mock draft is now blown up at this point, obviously because of the trade, and then Trubisky going number 2. So look, and they're showing the reaction to Chicago fans, and they are not happy.
Some of them
to
look
say the
excited.
least.
They're
pretty mad.
though.
There were some people going like, "What?"
Yeah,
and then they're showing some people that are clapping.
Look, some are like, "Yeah, good trip." So,
But-
yeah, it's half and half. And that's the thing. That's like you say. It's kind of you have to wait and see. Who knows? But the odds are against him.
I'm gonna text a friend of my friend Adam Musto, who
Is he a Bears
he's a
fan?
huge Bears fan.
Is he
I want to
happy or
get
is he
his
sad?
reaction.
Yeah, actually,
So
have
we'll-
him send a video, and then send the video to Ravi,
That's a good
because then
idea.
he can play the video on the thing. Yeah, so if we can get a video reaction, that would be sweet. Oh, actually, when the Cowboys pick, I'll try and get a Demetrius's video reaction. Let's see, because that would be a good one.
But that's interesting though. So Chicago obviously doesn't make this trade unless they feel San Francisco wanted Trubisky or another team was trading up number 2 to get Trubisky. So I think we're going to now see a run at quarterback. So Deshaun, now we need to see will Deshaun Watson, will Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those are the 2 higher names. Maybe Deshaun Kaiser. Davis Webb is another guy. So we'll have to see because I think quarterback it's obviously gone much too high for our liking.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see what's next. And San Francisco's on the clock right now. Could they trade down again? You sometimes see the scenario where you trade down
If
once,
they
you trade down again, just to accumulate more picks.
I would name them the winners of draft.
They got a lot
easily.
of good picks there, and that's good. And that's a good trade for General Manager John Lynch. No personnel, no GM experience. The first year GM, new head coach in Kyle Shanahan, and they definitely need a lot of talent on that team. So getting more picks, you just get more young talent on cheap contracts. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's definitely I definitely like the trade for San Francisco. I don't know if I love it for Chicago, no, but if they believe this is the guy, you know.
Yeah.
Now you've given Glennon some good money. I think, you know, I don't remember the exact contract. It's a 3-year deal, but I think they can get out of it after a year or two.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So
it's a built-in safety valve.
but even so, like I said, if Glennon, you know, isn't anything less than perfect, fans are going to want Trubisky to play. So
Kurt Warner is shocked. He's on the
Kurt
TV
Warner
right
should
now.
be shocked.
Kurt Warner's
He was
awesome.
an undrafted quarterback who's going to the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, more teams should follow that model.
Some of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL are low-round guys or not first-rounders. Joe Montana was taken in the 2nd round. Tom Brady was taken in the 6th round. Kurt Warner, undrafted.
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie is not one of the greatest quarterbacks.
Doug Flutie is the greatest quarterback of all time. Vinny Testaverde, the second greatest quarterback of all time. I love journeymen, especially ones that stick.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You don't see that anymore.
I mean, the United States in America, we love the underdog story. So it's interesting to see.
Oh,
And they have
look at
they have a
this,
good graphic here. Quarterback selected number 2 overall on their records. So Carson Wentz 7-9 last year. Mariota's 11-16 so far. RG3 went 15-25. Donovan McNabb went 98-62-1. Ryan Leaf went 4-17. So we've had 3 straight years of a quarterback being taken number 2 overall. With the last 2 years, obviously, quarterback taking number 1. Now Jameson Mariota, obviously pretty good. Book's still out on Wentz. You know, Jared Goff hasn't looked good. I mean, Book's still out. Obviously, it's still young on him. So now Trubisky kind of joins that group. But it's interesting to see his rise in the draft process. And you see it every year because quarterback, there's such a premium, and it gets so overvalued that, you know, Trubisky in no way, shape, or form is he the second best player in this draft. But because of the value,
Sometimes the overvalue.
it's there. It's
quarterback,
definitely there. So we'll have to see.
San Francisco, they kept the pick, and the pick is in, so we should be hearing about that momentarily.
That'll be interesting.
Let's see who they take. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna guess Thomas.
So my original, let me pull it back up here. My original pick at number 3 with the Bears was Jamal Adams, the safety. Now I think everything's bumped down a little, so Solomon Thomas makes a lot of sense for San Francisco here, but do they take a quarterback now all of a sudden where the number 1's open? Because you always see the runs, right? Like, now we're already down to the second best. And when we come back around, how many quarterbacks are going to be taken? We need a quarterback. All we have is Brian Hoyer and some spare parts.
Brian Hoyer's all you need.
I mean, Brian Hoyer is a really good backup journeyman type of quarterback. But
Yeah.
he's in no way, shape, or form a starter. And we have a special guest right now.
Hey, Oz.
That's going to join us. His name is Oz.
Look at me.
Come on, Oz. Nah, he's good. So,
It's because my foot's in his house.
yeah. It's going to be. I want to see the next team that's going to take a quarterback. Now, do you feel like it could be San Francisco here? Maybe Deshaun Watson. Maybe Patrick Mahomes.
I'm gonna say no.
We'll see. Here we go. So there it is. Solomon
There we go.
Thomas. He gets moved down.
Normalcy has been
Restored.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If another quarterback had gone right there, the whole draft, throw out everything. Throw out everything.
You can already throw out a lot of it because now everything's moved down at least 1. And
as you said, quarterback.
I think, like we've just discussed, we're just waiting now for the next team to next quarterback, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's happened. So Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes are the next couple guys. And a lot of these teams at the top can obviously use quarterbacks. So it'll be interesting to see. We got the Jaguars up next. I mean, they have Blake Bortles. You feel like they probably don't take a quarterback because
my pick,
because
my guess for the Jaguars was Leonard Fournette.
That's correct. And Fournette could go high. I mean,
He will go high.
He's a running back that a lot of people like.
I see in the future.
Though some people Wait, did you tip yourself off to the?
No, I'm kidding.
Because I mean, on social media, it always gets tipped off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from insiders and stuff.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
So.
No, I did not get tipped off.
I don't like getting tipped off. I like kind of experiencing it live.
Why don't you like that with all your movies?
Oh yeah, I kind of am.
You like to ruin the movies for me and you.
I've been that way with Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't looked anything into it.
That's because it's your favorite movie of all
It's one of my favorite
Soon to be
franchises.
favorite franchise. Well, it can't be a franchise yet.
The Prestige is my favorite franchise.
It's only one movie.
No, The Prestige is the first in a trilogy. The sequel being Inception, and the third being Interstellar.
Now that would be cool if they all the Nolan movies took place in the same universe, a la Disney.
A la M. Night Shyamalan.
How excited are you for the Unbreakable official sequel?
Oh, Glass.
That's what it's called, huh?
That's the title that the studio tweeted out. Could obviously change between now and then, but I'm excited for that. I really am. M. Night showed a lot of maturation. It Split. Has grown up a lot as a filmmaker. And had just a really good story and a really good movie.
Yeah, very intense. I was on the edge of my seat.
It was very good and very
entire
intense.
time.
And my only hope is it doesn't fall into kind of what his other blockbusters have fallen into.
Boring.
But just boring and kind of over the top.
Convoluted.
And yeah,
Doesn't make much sense.
I mean, it already has a great cast. You're uniting the cast of Unbreakable and Split together. Some would argue Unbreakable is his best movie. Was his best movie before Split.
Science.
Well, I mean, some others say Sixth Sense, obviously. Others say The Happening. It's a really good one.
Literally no one has ever said that.
So what are you feeling with Jacksonville here at number 4? You're feeling Fournette?
I'm feeling offense. So they showed a graphic. I think it was last year. They used 6 of their 7 picks on defense.
Totally.
So, and as you said, they probably need to get Bortles some help. Right?
Bortles has some weapons though.
Right, with the two
He has the two
Robinsons,
receivers.
or-
He's got the Allen brothers and
The
Allen
Allen brothers,
Robinson and
yeah.
Allen Hurns. Now they took a step back last year. They did trade Julius Thomas to Miami. So could we perhaps see a tight end and O.J. Howard taken at number 4 here?
Yeah.
Our running back would also be a good situation like we talked about on the show. With they've struggled there, but it hasn't really worked out for them.
I mean, I've always liked the
They had a pretty
idea.
low rushing attack.
Yeah, I always liked the idea of
last year,
pairing a
so-
big running back with a big quarterback.
And Bortles is a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's sort of he's a little mobile. He's not like Tom Brady slow.
But yeah, a good run game could certainly help them out a lot.
Yeah, and Fournette, it's a mixed bag. You hear a lot of things about him. So some people are like, he's a running back that's gonna do okay, but he definitely has his cons, and he's gonna have an average NFL running back career. Other people think he's the next coming of Adrian Peterson.
Concern with Fournette is he's a bit of a bigger back.
Yep.
And some people are concerned that the college speed doesn't translate to NFL speed,
Right.
and he could be the next Trent Richardson. He could be the next big back that just isn't quick enough, isn't fast enough for the NFL, and he's just going to be a guy is destined to average about 3.5 yards. Now that used to work in the NFL about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
The Patriots, Antoine Smith in 01. I mean, he could get you 3 yards, wouldn't fumble, a big back, could get 300 carries, and that's what you needed. Like that's
Just beat up on
and
those
that was perfect. But
linebackers.
in today's NFL, you need more than that. You need a back that can do a little bit of everything. That's big in the pass game. That can do pass protection. And everything like that. And so we have the Jacksonville selection in, and right before we get it in, please make sure to ask some questions to us. You can leave a comment. You can even leave a comment. You can ask us questions, and we'll definitely get to your questions. So hit us up. So there it is.
I called it.
It's Leonard Fournette. So Christian is so Christian's done well so far with his 2 picks. Because I mean, even though Solomon
No lie,
Thomas
I know
was,
nothing, and that was a complete
even though
guess.
Solomon Thomas was taken 3rd, he had the team right. He had them 2 to San Francisco, and he had Fournette at 4, and that makes a lot of sense. And that's Fournette. I like Fournette. I think he's going to be. I mean, now complete caveat being, I also love Trent Richardson. in 2012.
I think we all did.
I thought he was going to be the best pick in that draft, and he was not. He was not even close. So, but I think Fournette, because obviously Blake Bortles is not going to last there that long. I think they keep him around for another year or two. And then
Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Blake isn't the guy in Jacksonville. Now, barring a huge turnaround.
Which could happen.
This year.
He's still fairly young, right?
It totally could happen, yeah. He is still a young guy. But barring a huge turnaround.
And maybe the addition of a running back like this makes the offense dynamic enough.
And you would think so. You've got the running back. You've got the 2 receivers. Maybe in the second round you go get that tight end. One of these tight ends drop off. And
why not?
And you go for that. So.
Get a tight end who can block for Fournette.
Be interesting. So
wow, look at that! 6 feet, 6.5 feet, 6 feet, half an inch, and 240 pounds.
Right.
That's only 10 pounds less than LeBron James. People.
He's a big guy. He's a big back, and he's more of a traditional running back who needs, a lot of carries, and everything.
Yeah, he looks like a downhill runner. It looks like he gets ahead of steam, and he's gonna run you over. Yep, about like that.
Now remember,
he has
our
a great
audience can't
stiff arm.
see it, so.
Yeah, well, he has a great stiff arm. I know that. I think that's his biggest weapon, actually.
It's one of his good ones. So.
Yes.
So yeah, so again, we want for those of you who are watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on all our different platforms, please ask us questions. We'll be happy to answer anything and everything to the best of our abilities. If you want to know more about Leonard Fournette, if you want to know about maybe how he's going to work in Jacksonville, please hit us up with a question. We also we have Tennessee on the clock, and we're going to see kind of what they're going to do.
Yeah, Gina, who was your guess for Tennessee?
So my guess for Tennessee at number 5.
Oh, I like this.
Was Mike Williams, a wide receiver. My thinking here was, the best way to elevate those young quarterbacks is to get them a weapon, and Mike Williams, being the best receiver, is a nice big weapon for the red zone for Mariota, who's already a good red zone quarterback. He
hasn't thrown a pick yet, right?
It was up until late last year that he hadn't. I don't know if that continued. Even if he has, it's still a ridiculous ratio.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what Tennessee does. They're still on the clock.
How about 2 and
everything?
2.5
But right now,
minutes.
going back to the big trade that we had with with Trubisky taking number 2. Right now, it just seems to have moved everything down a little bit. We just haven't seen the guys, taken that we thought would be, necessarily taken. Now, Jamal Adams is still available, on the draft board. He's another top guy. I had originally mocked him to the Bears at number 3.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't happen. So that'll be interesting to see, does that change the Titans' plan? Because some of the, now that Trubisky's been taken, now obviously they weren't in the market for a quarterback. This helps them. That means there's one less. One more, I should say, defensive player or non-quarterback player that's there that they could potentially take. Interesting to see what's going to happen there. And once again, all you fans that are watching out there, please leave us a comment. Please leave us questions. Anything you want, we will answer immediately. We are here for you.
I have a question for you, actually.
You have a question for the fans?
No, for you.
Yeah, I have a question for the fans. Why aren't you asking us questions?
Because they're smart. No, I'm just kidding. Question for you. If you're the Patriots right now, and there's a defensive player in this first round that could be had, so this is really just your opinion.
Sure.
Who would you go after? If you could add any projected first round defensive player, who would it be from the first round?
From the first round?
That has not already been picked.
I really liked Myles Garrett.
Yeah, so not him.
I do like Jamal Adams a lot. At
do.
safety. Now, the Patriots don't really need
not
a
at
safety. They have McCourty, they have Chung, they re-signed Deron Harmon. They have some guys there.
Looks like Mike Mayock had the defensive end Allen. What was his name?
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen ahead of Jamal.
Yeah, you had him mocked to the Jets at number 6, who are next here. And it'll be interesting because, obviously, again, now the Titans are really milking this down the clock. I'm wondering if there's the team that's trying to trade up here to take another quarterback right before the Jets at number 6.
Deshaun Watson.
Who are really in the quarterback market. But we'll
They're really good at being bad
and,
at drafting quarterbacks.
Two kind of threw everybody else off, so now everybody that thought, oh, we're going to have 2 or 3 options at quarterback later, maybe now and then one of those guys that are really
Right, and what's interesting is the Titans GM is John Robinson, former Patriot personnel guy, and we know the Patriots are under the Belichick tree very much into the trading down and gathering picks and assets. So yeah, they're really running this down. It looks like they're turning in the card, but I would imagine there was
A trade?
a lot of talk.
Okay.
No, the Titans have to pick in, so we'll see.
if they go wide receiver, they have to go with Corey Davis. He's a
Wow,
so Corey Davis,
So
yeah.
Steve Smith is right now talking. If they go wide receiver, Corey Davis should be the guy. That's interesting. I think you take the number one guy, Mike Williams, the big guy. Inside guys are really nice to have, obviously, and a
totally.
lot of teams have shown that those can work. The New Englands, the Saint, New Orleans, the Indianapolises, the Denvers of the universe.
Right.
But I think there's still something really nice to having a big guy on the outside that can take the ball deep. And Mariota's got an arm. Like he
Yeah.
certainly, and having a big guy that can go up and win those contested balls, that just adds an element that makes everything easier on the inside for everybody. For your running game, for your inside game, it's one of the most important pieces in the NFL. It's one of the hardest things to get, honestly. A guy that can consistently go up and get it and win. So, Randy Moss is one of the best at it.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens was obviously really good at it.
Calvin Johnson was decent.
Oh, show. Well, that was something else. So, I want to see what this Titans pick is, because this is interesting. Now we have a little fork in the road. Is it going to be offense? Is it going to be defense?
Fork in the
Right
road.
before, and
It's
also
like a
right before the
choose-your-own
Jets.
adventure.
And the Jets can really blow up this draft.
They
especially
will.
if they go
They're
quarterback.
going to. blow up this
You've
draft.
got
It's
you've
the
got it.
Jets, of
I've
course
got
they
a
are.
feeling, right? They might have been the other team that was trying to trade up to number 2 to get Trubisky.
Yeah.
So maybe they just sit tight at 6, and now they take Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. So they've taken someone. We're gonna see
They seem happy
who the
about it.
Titans got. Rogers announcing it.
Oh, interesting. So they
So
did
they
take a
did
wide
take Corey
receiver,
Davis,
but not Mike Williams.
So they took Corey Davis. There he is. That was number 5.
There you go. So they gave Mariota a weapon. Maybe not the one that you would have picked.
Yeah, it's interesting. Davis is a smaller guy, and he's more of an inside guy.
Does he have speed? Maybe he'll be a burner in the NFL. He won't be that
Yeah, he
big guy
could
who
be.
goes up and gets the ball on the
Yeah,
outside,
he could.
but he could run behind the
by
defense,
saying
right?
he's small, he's not like he's not like a 5'9" guy.
Yeah.
I think he's 6'2" or 6'1".
Wait,
he's
that's-
6'2".
that's
he's
pretty-
6'2",
that's
205.
pretty big.
He can play on the outside, but
Yeah, that's pretty big.
I think he's gonna probably play more on the inside.
6'2", 6'1", 6'2" is pretty big. For
So
receivers.
that'll be interesting. He had a lot of by showing his stats, he had a lot of records and this and that. And I'm a little surprised that Davis went over Mike Williams. I really thought Williams was going to be the guy.
I thought Davis
to go there.
was rated the number 1 receiver in a few.
In
few
some.
mocks?
So,
Yeah. So it seems like it
some
was
guys,
a close.
It seemed. I don't think you can really go wrong with either guy.
Yeah. Or you go wrong with both.
You could go wrong with both.
Yeah.
But so far we've actually nailed the draft. So pretty much.
In terms of position and
We've got 3 We've got 3 picks right now down. We got the position down for this. Really, the only wrinkle has been the Bears at the quarterback position.
those beers.
So that's interesting, and we'll have to see how that goes. So, any of you Titans fans out there that are watching us right now, please, what do you
Comment.
think? What do
Yeah.
you think of Corey Davis coming to the Titans? Do you think he is good? Do you think the Titans should have gone with Mike Williams? Should they have gone defense? Should they have gone with maybe Jamal Adams or maybe one of those D linemen? Let us know. So, and then Jets fans, you're on the clock right now. So, what do you want to see right now? Here,
I
at
had
number
them.
6?
I had them picking Jonathan Allen.
Do you want
at 6.
a D lineman? You have a pretty good D line and you have a good defense, but do you want that quarterback? Do you
Yeah,
want
you
Deshaun
know what
Watson?
you don't have? Quarterback.
You don't have a quarterback, So, interesting things. I think this is where the draft kind of Christian's eating his celery sticks and everything. So these commercials are wild. They're like Super Bowl commercials.
Are they?
To me, they are. just because they're so
What are
good.
the ratings like for?
What are the ratings like for this first
It's
round?
pretty high. It's pretty good actually. It's justifiable, I would say. Who are you waving at?
All the people.
So that's interesting too. Jamal Adams is still available. Really good, piece in the secondary there for the Jets. Maybe they decide he's the guy at number 6. So we've seen him drop. Now I don't think he's dropped because of anything specifically. I think it's just how the draft has gone and need, and some of these other guys. But I don't think a lot of people foresaw Jamal, being so high. And remember, this draft is deep in the secondary, deep at corner, deep at safety, and through 5 picks, we've yet to see any of those guys go so far.
I wonder if this is sort of like the paradox of having a deep position. People just assume because there are so many that you don't have to go after them first.
Right.
So it's weird. The most talented guys and the deepest position actually gets drafted later because everyone just assumes there's going to be somebody there. I'll go get him in a later round.
It's
or
interesting
just,
because
later
there
in
are
the draft or
less
whatever.
X position. We need this, and then you have the quarterbacks. We haven't seen an O lineman yet. It's considered shallow. Could we see some of these top O linemen start to go with teams that feel like they need a left tackle or a a good guard or whatever? That's another thing to watch. But I think this Jets pick is really going to kind of determine where we're going with the rest of this draft. If it's another quarterback, I think you start to see more of a run at quarterback again. Because then you're down to your third guy. Some teams, might be a little more desperate to get their guy. See more quarterbacks go. Could we see, a guy in the secondary taken, and then all of a sudden that's opened up, and now you see that happen? This is kind of a pivotal pick because really, besides the trade to number 2 and the taking of Mitchell Trubisky, everything's gone. It isn't surprising right now.
Right.
So we'll have to see. We'll definitely. What are you feeling right now with the Jets here at 6?
I think these guys are going to take a quarterback. I think they're taking Deshaun Watson.
What do you think of Deshaun Watson now? His intangibles are kind of off the charts. You seem like as a really good leader. People aren't so hot on him though as a quarterback. They kind of see him with some holes in his game. What do you think?
I think, I see, like every guy in the draft, someone who's really talented. I just don't see them panning out. I see him as a backup. I think that's his ceiling.
So right now, we have YouTube up, and please ask us questions. And Rabbi's trying to tell me something, and I can't see.
Are those comments?
We have questions, but I can't read them from here.
Yeah. Rabbi, why don't you just call them out to us?
What's the lineup so far?
What's the lineup? What's who's been
What's the lineup so far?
the draft so far? We've had Myles Garrett taken number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns. We've had Mitchell Trubisky. We've had at number 3 we had Solomon Thomas taken by the 49ers. At 4 we had Leonard Fournette, and at 5 we had Corey Davis, wide receiver. The Jets are at number 6. Ian Rappaport just had a really interesting report saying that the Browns are now interested in trading for Kirk Cousins because they missed out on Mitchell Trubisky. They are engaged with the Redskins or Washington, allegedly or reportedly, in draft talks maybe to go and get Kirk Cousins from Washington. That's an interesting development right there.
Seriously.
They could go and try and get him.
I'm gonna see what those other comments are.
We're gonna go see. Now the Jets pick is in right now. We're gonna see if who it is and everything. Now, also, the rumors coming into the draft today had been the Browns could maybe trade back up from their number 12 overall pick to take a quarterback. They were very interested in Trubisky. Now, how high are they on Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and some of the other quarterbacks? It'll be interesting to see.
So, first comment from Sebastian Uribe was "Go Pack Go," the Packers fan.
Packers, there you go.
And then Xavion Young says, "I love your vids. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much."
Thank you.
Thank you, Xavion Young.
Thank you, Xavion Young.
We really appreciate that.
You're a nice guy. You're a classy guy. What's your final pick? What's your final say on this Jets pick? Who are they going?
I think it's Watson.
Wow. I'm gonna say Jamal Adams. The reason I said that is I saw Todd Bowles' face, and I can't read into facial expressions at all, but he looked really happy, and he's a defensive guy, so defensive player.
Okay.
So maybe Jamal Adams, maybe Jonathan Allen.
If it's Jonathan Allen, then I am correct.
For a guy who knows little about the draft, maybe you should be hired as GM, huh?
I would destroy a franchise.
No more soap in the Browns. Here we go. Jets. So the Jets have taken Jamal Adams.
Okay, the safety.
So I don't think the Jets foresaw Adams kind of falling down to number 6 overall. So we'll have to, I think they're probably pretty happy with that. They definitely have had a secondary that struggled, especially with Darrelle Revis struggling last year at corner. They've definitely needed some safety help. They need some corner help too. They've had some misses in the first round over there. So this is a pick that can definitely solidify their secondary as they kind of turn it over from Darrelle Revis. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. What's kind of next for the Jets, but maybe their secondary could be good over the next few years or so. But that's good. That's a good pick by them. I liked it. I like it a lot.
Explains why Todd Bowles is so happy, huh?
Definitely explains that, and we haven't seen that run at quarterback yet. So. Could we see another team? Could we see another team now trade into this top 10 area for quarterback? That's what I'm interested to see. We've got the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock right now. Your second LA franchise. He'll be playing at StubHub Center, where the LA Galaxy play. They'll play at the StubHub Stadium. Believe so. And they're showing some Jets fans right now. They're pretty excited. And yeah, Jamal Adams, that's a solid pick. That's a good pick right there.
That's a great pick.
I think the Jets really went best available.
Smart.
They
That's actually like
talent.
one of the smartest decisions
Yeah,
I've ever made.
and we talked about this on the lateral, but could you have, with the quarterback hype and everything, like we could have totally seen the Jets here go and take Deshaun Watson with the Trubisky at number 2 and kind of feeling pressured that they need a quarterback, but only having McCown on there, but they didn't. They really stuck to their board, and I think they're gonna like it. I think, and that's what you have to do. You've really got to trust your board and what you have, and go with that. You've got to go with the evaluation and what makes your team best and better. He's a talented piece. And he's gonna make them talented. Hopefully, I mean, at least that's what the Jets are hoping for.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's gonna have a good test in Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's
twice a year.
Let's be honest. That's probably why they went to go get him.
Yeah, I mean,
Taking the division means you got to stop Brady, right?
You got to stop Brady, right? That's it. And
I'd be shocked if Miami and Buffalo aren't
once
thinking
again,
on the same thing.
thank you, Sebastian, Zavion, and David for sending in some questions on YouTube and comments. So please send some more in. We'll
do our best.
We have a screen here now where we can actually read them. So it's good. It's good. We've got a nice little setup. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we have the Chargers on the clock now. And where do you feel the Chargers are going?
That's a great question. I have no idea. The Los Angeles Chargers, I might add.
Yes.
Who did we have slated in our mock?
Let's check it out.
So for Arjuna, you said, so you had them picking Antonio Gates' replacement.
Oh, that's right. I had
OJ Howard.
I had OJ Howard here.
Going number 7.
Number 7. Getting another offensive piece for Phillip Rivers. It makes sense. Now Mike Williams is still available, which is interesting for the Chargers. Do they maybe consider going up and getting him? Keenan Allen has been good when he's healthy. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. Unfortunately, he's had a few injuries over the last few years. They could definitely do with a weapon Fourth, Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is still a good quarterback, but he definitely.
But you know, you feel like he's
some help.
getting up there in age. You want to kind of
Right.
take advantage of the last few prime years he has left.
Definitely,
right?
definitely, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers take a quarterback. Not here at 7, but maybe
like the fourth
a little
round
later
or something.
in the round and everything. So. Do you feel they go tight end? The Chargers here at 7.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, use
I'm gonna
that
predict
use that
this.
brain of yours.
Defense.
They're going defense.
Yeah.
Now, who are they going on defense?
That's a great question. Let me see what we got.
I think the Chargers. I think they're going after Takaris McKinley.
Tack McKinley, really?
Tack McKinley.
Interesting. Well, you just feel like they need another pass rusher on the team?
So I think now the so obviously it's a passing league, right?
Definitely.
And the conventional thinking now, and I mentioned this on the lateral, I think a lot of GMs feel that you gotta the defensive line is the foundation of your defense, much like the offensive line is the foundation of your offense, right? So the first step to building a successful defense, both against the run and against the pass, even, is you got to have a solid line that can stop the run and then also get to the quarterback, right? So, and this draft, especially at defensive end, is extremely deep, right? At some point, though, you want to get the best guy available
Definitely.
because they're going to go quick. Like you said, that we might see a run at quarterback. Well, I think we could also see a huge run
At D-line.
At
I mean,
D-line.
in our original mock, we had 5 D linemen going in the top 10.
in the top 10.
Yeah, so we had the run. We in our mock we had the run, and
And it went right off the bat.
we've had two at 1 and 3.
Yeah.
So far, we haven't seen the rest of the run, but right, maybe the Chargers here go with there. So the picks coming up here now. Charger fans, who do you want to see? Let us know. Leave us a comment. And Jets fans, how do you feel about Jamal Adams? Titans fans, how do you feel about Corey Davis? And any fan, Browns fans, how are you feeling about Miles? Bears fans, how are you feeling about the quarterback and Mitchell Trubisky and so on and so forth? Just just hit us up. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know if you have any questions that we can try and answer. So, and interesting, Steve Smith once again coming up and saying, could Mike Williams be the guy here? As we just talked about, getting a weapon for Phillip Rivers, getting some years. I have a feeling it's going to be maybe wide receiver or D end here.
Wide receiver or D end.
You either get the quarterback help or you get after the quarterback.
Get after the quarterback.
So-
Yeah.
We got the
That is
pick
a
coming
popular-
in right
that's a-
here.
And they're evenly split. 3 offense, 3 defense, 2 from LSU, by the way. Let's send things back to the podium.
And the Brews rain down once again on Raj.
This will be the Los Angeles Chargers' first pick. There's Los Angeles Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers select
They're taking.
Mike Williams.
Oh.
They took Mike Williams, the wide receiver from
Wow.
Clemson. They took the big guy, and it makes sense. You go in, you get Phillip Rivers, the big target that he needs, and everything. So Chargers fans, Los Angeles fans, let us know in the comment section here on YouTube how you're feeling about Mike Williams. Will he pair nicely with Phillip Rivers and get that offense kind of back on track? Now, all of a sudden, if the Chargers aren't a bad team, they've really been snake bitten the last couple of years.
Right.
If they can stay healthy, if Keenan Allen can stay healthy, all of a sudden,
Yep.
and make, and team up with Mike Williams, all of a sudden they have a pretty nice offense. Antonio Gates still is, can still produce, and having him as the third option, kind of in a nice offense. They had Melvin Gordon, obviously.
It's nice too,
That's
right?
a nice offense that's coming around all of a sudden.
I know you had them picking a tight end here in the
Yes.
first round, but tight end is actually another deep position in this draft.
Very
so who's to
much
say
so.
that they don't turn around and go get another one? Go get one
Absolutely.
in second,
Absolutely.
third, fourth, fifth round.
Absolutely.
So interesting. If I was the Chargers, I would totally go for broke and give Phil Rivers all the weapons that he can handle. Go win that Super Bowl, at least a playoff game.
They're showing some highlight tapes here, and you just, I'm a big Mike Williams fan.
Yeah, he's
that,
big.
If there was a guy I wanted to add offensively, it was Mike Williams. That he would have been the guy for the Patriots, and they're in good
He's
shape at wide
real
receiver.
big.
But he's a guy that I really like.
6'3",
6'3" and 5/8", 218 pounds, 4.52 40-yard dash.
How when did they start getting so specific with the height there? 5/8 of an inch?
They do that. They've done that.
They don't.
for
They
a while.
don't do that in the NBA. That's interesting.
Interesting.
And in the NBA, height's more important. Unless they do, and I just completely messed that up. I don't know.
Now, because the Chargers, honestly, if they're healthy, they can be a 10, 11, maybe even a 12-win team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They certainly can, and Mike Williams could be a nice pick. This is a good pick, and, you know, the NFL has become so much about the quarterback, and really all of these picks have been made with a quarterback in mind, right? Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett won to take down a quarterback. With the Bears, with Mitchell Trubisky, is a quarterback. Solomon Thomas, get to the quarterback. Fournette, help make the quarterback better. Number 5, Corey Davis to make a quarterback better. You know, number 6, the safety, Jamal Adams. You know,
Stop Tom Brady.
to stop the quarterback. You know,
Yeah.
be that deep valve for the quarterback.
I mean that totally
It's-
makes sense. I guess you could look at every position on the field and relate it to the quarterback.
But
right?
totally. But you almost feel like
you can see the thinking behind
you
the
see
GMs
the thinking
and
behind
the team,
all
the
these
scouting.
picks so far as about the quarterback position, and it really is that way. And so now the Panthers have been on the clock at number 8. They've already made their pick. Krishna, you had Derek Barnett here.
Wait, who did I have?
You had Derek Barnett, the DN from Tennessee,
Oh, okay.
going to the Panthers here at number 8.
Yes.
Do you still feel like they're going to go there at number 8?
To be honest, I have no idea. The Panthers, I'm not sure. I have no idea.
All of a sudden, and this is what I'm thinking right now,
Oh no, don't say it.
is tight end. Now, they have Greg Olsen, one of the top 2 tight ends in the NFL, but
Yeah.
why not get another tight end to pair him? You have a nice big 2 tight end set, and you pair them together, and you all of a sudden you got Greg Olsen, O.J. Howard, 2 tight end set with some of your weapons. You could do with a wide receiver.
Cam Newton utilizes Greg Olsen really
Yeah,
well.
and he can utilize that vertical game.
Not to
that helps
mention-
your running game, too,
Yeah.
and the Panthers have talked about wanting to get back to being a physical running team.
Not to mention when Cam does take off down the field, just having a guy who can block already down there.
This could also be a running back. This could be Christian McCaffrey here, the running back for Stanford. So that would also be another interesting pick. That'd be another weapon for that Panthers offense. But I have a feeling it's got to be an offensive piece here for the Panthers, especially with the way the board has gone so far. It just feels like there's some talented offensive pieces. You know, you have the second running back. You got the first tight end out there. And I think both of those positions could make some sense. So the commissioner's coming up. He's got a special guest. So Titans fans, let us know. Panthers fans, let us know who you think the pick is, and once the pick is announced, how you're feeling about it.
Or
and,
who do you want?
and who do you want?
Who,
Right.
who knows what the pick is, you know?
We can always predict.
And be wrong.
More than being great players, they are great men.
Well, just giving a little story here.
Great about the NFL. Tonight, to make the Panthers selection, we are honored to have with us the 2014 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Thomas Davis.
So they have Thomas Davis actually announcing the pick for the Panthers right now. They're doing the Walter Payton Man of the Year winners, announcing the 3rd-round picks and everything.
That's some kind of animal behind us.
Oh,
Who is he?
this is Thomas Davis. He's a linebacker for the Panthers.
Interesting.
So they took Christian McCaffrey, the running back.
They
from
did take
Stanford,
Christian
yeah.
McCaffrey. You just called it.
And that was the feeling right there too, because there were rumors that McCaffrey could be taken in the top 8 overall in the draft here, and you see right here McCaffrey, taking at number 8. He's a nice he's a nice back. He's got some speed. He had a Twitter video actually showing his lateral quickness, just going from cone to cone, which was kind of went viral almost, just how quick he is. The concern with McCaffrey though is he's kind of one of these smaller gadget backs.
Kind of like a Deion Lewis.
Deion Lewis, James White, Danny Woodhead type. And the The concern here is he gets hit by these NFL-sized D linemen and linebackers and safeties and corners, and he will shatter. Yeah, very, very good. And that is a concern here too. Also, he is laterally very quick, but how fast is he? Does the speed translate into the NFL?
Is he the number 5?
He's number 5 right here on the screen, Ravi, and you're gonna see right here he's gonna bunch Mr. Producer. So you can kind of see some of the lateral quickness. He's also really good in the passing game. I think he's going to be a really nice weapon for Cam Newton. They're at their best when everything's kind of in the middle of the field and everything. And McCaffrey is a good running back in space, and you can certainly get him out in space with Carolina, especially with Greg Olsen at tight end and providing some blocking and obviously some passing down the field. Now I wouldn't be surprised. Again, just like we talked about with the last team, with the Chargers, in the second round, they come back and they get a tight end. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they have a nice 2 tight end set with the running back, with Cam Newton, who is a weapon himself with running the ball and everything like that.
7?
This was the number 8 pick. We are now at number 9.
Oh, wow.
We're actually moving pretty quick.
It's moving
Nine in
along.
about an hour.
It's moving along pretty well right
Not
now.
bad.
Picks in total?
There are 32
32.
picks.
Oh, for the love of goodness.
So we have Cincinnati.
Sneak away.
And there goes that animal.
Goodbye, Mr. Producer. It was nice to talk to you. So right now we have Cincinnati on the clock right now.
You picked Takarist McKinley.
Tack McKinley, but again, the feeling here now. You've had this run of offensive weapons. Could they go and get another offensive weapon for Andy Dalton? They certainly missed not having Mohamed Sanu last year with the Bengals. Just AJ Green. Green struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
Could they maybe go and get a wide receiver? Could they maybe get a tight end to go with Tyler
I
Eifert?
love how AJ Green's struggling. It's 964 yards, which is a career low. That is not struggling for most receivers, but for him,
It is actually in today's NFL though. That is struggling for a number 1 guy. For your top guy. If your top guy only has 900 yards.
But Andy Dalton still threw over 3,000 yards.
Yeah, but so 3,000. If you're not
Is
over
low.
4,000 yards in the NFL, you're a bad passing game. It's a bad passing attack. You know what I mean? In today's NFL, you're right. 15 years ago.
Yeah.
In today's NFL, though, if you're not at least 4,000 passing yards for your quarterback, or combined with if
With
it's
some
multiple
rushing,
quarterbacks,
or
that's bad, right?
it's really good at being bad.
But maybe we see O.J. Howard taken here.
The tight end.
The
That
tight
would
end.
make a lot of sense.
You kind of pair him with Tyler Eifert. Tyler Eifert's been, a good tight end. He has had some injury. He's had some injury issues though. It might make some sense. We in our draft we had already had him taken at this point. He is still available right now.
in the National Football League. And now you have this Christian McCaffrey. And by the way, David Shaw, congratulations. 2 kids in the first 8 picks. That's talking about recruiting and player development.
We're talking about practice.
Christian McCaffrey is a guy
Eh.
that Mike Shula is going to be crazy creative.
So Mr. Producer is telling me that I should engage with folks on Twitch.
Twitch.
We have
What's Twitch? Just kidding.
we
Don't hit
do
me.
have a Twitch stream. So welcome to all of you who are watching us. Please leave us questions. Let us know what your thoughts are. If your team is already picked, how do you feel about your pick? If your team hasn't picked, who do you want them to pick? Who's falling that you kind of want to see come in? Do you want to see them trade up? Do you want to see them trade down? All that type of stuff. If you're one of the 3 teams, the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, Minnesota Vikings, or the New England Patriots without a first-round pick, do you want to see your team move up tonight into
And
the
for
first
who?
round and take one of these guys? And who specifically?
What the?
We're showing some weird things.
Why
right
is
now.
there a mascot?
They're showing Christian McCaffrey as a kid, with mascots jumping at him. Interesting on Broncos TV. Interesting. The Bengals pick is in. Krishna, who do you feel is going to take?
I
Bengals gonna
actually
take
think
here?
tight end here makes a lot of sense. I really do.
Who did we have as our original pick here at number 9?
I believe
I had Tack McKinley here.
Tack McKinley. Yes.
Are you a little surprised that we haven't seen more D linemen taken?
No, because now that you think about it, I think it's that paradox. People assume because it's so deep, there'll be some there later. Let's go get the positions that are gonna go quick that aren't as deep, perhaps.
We could
Or
We
maybe
could
it's
also
just team
see some
need. I don't know.
secondary. We could also see a corner or safety, another corner or safety kind of taken here. Maybe a D lineman. I think the Bengals can go in a lot of position, a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of available talent. Obviously, still, it's a nice thing about taking sitting high up.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Mike Mayock just said he thinks it's going to be Jonathan Allen, his number 2 player, but he
Okay.
wouldn't be shocked if it's John Ross, the wide
The
receiver,
wide receiver.
at the combine.
Yeah, and
who
that stays in the
broke-
thinking of getting
Getting
Dalton
some playmakers, and he's the receiver that broke the 40 record at the combine, a fast guy. So that'll be interesting. And please, once again, if you're watching on any of our various platforms right now through our streams, please leave us a comment, leave us a question. How are you feeling about this draft? How are you feeling about your team? Or if they've picked already, how are you feeling? Who do you want to take? All those type of things. Is this draft boring to you? Is it exciting? Why are you watching?
Yes.
What makes you want to watch this draft?
I'm watching
What makes
because
you wanna
Arjuna
watch-
would beat me if I didn't.
What makes you want to watch this stream about us talking about the draft? We're going really meta here. So if you're watching, there's a reason why. We want to hear why. We want to hear your story, your background, and everything.
Hey,
so.
Ravi. If there are any comments from Twitch, you can let us know. Cool.
So the pick is in. We got Mr. Goodell coming to the stage right here.
Commercial break.
What? No.
The Cincinnati Bengals select John Ross.
Oh,
Wow.
snap.
So it is John Ross. It is the wide
Mike
receiver.
Mayock called it.
Mike Mayock did call it. That is way too high for John Ross in my mind. Now
You think so?
he's a great speed wide receiver. He's got durability issues. His production isn't all the way there. I just see a guy who's fast, honestly.
That's it?
I just see kind of an average wide receiver who's very, very fast. And I think Cincinnati kind of got – I mean, he's got really nice top-end speed, but – I mean, he's not going to be miles and miles faster than anyone in the NFL. Everyone in the NFL is fast. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're talking about straight line 40-yard speed. Like, that's very different than in the NFL when you're running routes and you're changing direction and speed and
Getting hit.
you're wearing pads and you get hit and it's
By
week
big-
4
by
and
big guys,
you've
yeah.
got a bum ankle and a bad knee and everything. So this is way too high in my opinion for John Ross. And
Where should John Ross he have been
late
drafted?
first,
Late first.
maybe second. I mean, I don't. I understand the excitement.
He is a
with the
small
speed.
guy. Holy
That's
crap.
the thing, and he's a small guy, but he doesn't have a lot of muscle. He doesn't got a lot of meat on those bones. Oh, and all of a sudden we've got a trade right now.
Oh.
They have the Chiefs have moved up to 10th overall from the Buffalo Bills, and I've got to think quarterback here. I think it's Patrick Mahomes at number 10.
Wait, Patrick?
Patrick Mahomes, yes, over maybe Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and Kaiser and some other guys.
Kaiser's fallen off the board. Mahomes has kind of been the third guy
Okay.
going in, but
But now he's going to become the second guy.
yeah, I think the Chiefs have really liked Mahomes, so that would be interesting to see if it's him.
Interesting.
I feel my feeling though is quarterback here. With the first trade we saw was for quarterback. It makes sense. The second trade here for a quarterback and in Buffalo, making the trade. Some thought they might be interested at quarters. They're not in love with Tyrod, even though he is returning for the Bills.
Yeah.
But again, if you can move down a little bit and gather some picks,
You do it.
you do it. Yeah,
I agree,
absolutely.
especially in this draft, apparently. So let's see. The Chiefs moved up, and they moved up quite a few spots. So they were 27th in the first round, and now they are.
And you probably
10th.
and the reason I think quarterback. If you look at some of the teams coming up, New Orleans, well, they don't need a quarterback. They have Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees is going to be 39 this year. You could. There have been some rumors that the Saints have been looking at maybe a quarterback, and I think I even mocked a quarterback to them at 32 in our mock. Evan Cleveland
I think you
here
did,
at
yeah.
number 12. Maybe they're looking at a quarterback too. They really have the pick of the rest of the litter. So it makes sense maybe for the Chiefs to move into 10 to take it. So
Medical grade would bring him down a little bit. But boy, this kid's a game changer now, and he's an explosive guy because he can score from anywhere on the
right, I'm not sure. I mean, going back right now to the Bengals, I think that might be the worst pick so far of the draft.
Wow.
I think it's a massive overreach and it's
Yeah.
a massive overreaction to
to a 420 speed.
a 4.22 record that didn't even look like a 4.22 at the combine.
Then. Oh wait,
Excuse
no,
me.
never mind.
Sorry.
I don't think I can say it.
So But again, I think like we talked about with that run at the offensive positions, like the best way to help your quarterback is to get him a weapon, right?
Yeah.
And all these guys are getting our weapons to complement their guys. You know, you saw Mike Williams go, you saw Christian McCaffrey go. You know, Mike Williams to. Okay, here we go. So, wow, the Chiefs traded their first-round pick this year, their first-round pick next year, and a third-round pick this year to move up 17 spots. That is quite the haul.
That has to be a quarterback, right?
What else
would you go?
I don't know really who else has really fallen that you want to move up so much. Now maybe it's one of those D linemen. Maybe they really like there's a lot of those guys available. Jonathan Allen, maybe being one of those guys that's fallen a little bit here. Could he be the guy?
I am actually going to run to the bathroom real quick, folks.
We are on commercial break. I'm just going to go on a rant.
Yeah. Wait, about Ross?
Yeah, I can go on a rant about Ross. I can go on a rant about anything. I've talked a lot. Actually, wait, Christian, can you actually give me some water? I ran out a long time ago. My mouth's really dry. Welcome to Lateral. 2017 NFL Draft. We are 10 picks in, and it's been a good draft so far. I think the biggest surprise has obviously been the number 2 pick with Mitchell Trubisky going to the Chicago Bears at 2. We just had our second trade with the Chiefs trading up from 17 picks from 27 to 10. They traded their first-round pick next year, their first-round pick this year, and their third-round pick, so quite the bounty. The feeling here is quarterback. Maybe it's Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's Patrick Mahomes, though. Mahomes is a guy that a lot of teams have been interested in, that maybe the Chiefs were interested in, especially at the end of the first round. So, but maybe, again, it's one of these D linemen that not as many have gone as at least we projected in our lateral mock draft. Maybe it's Jonathan Allen. Maybe it's Derek Barnett or Tack McKinley. Maybe it's somebody else. Who knows? I would be kind of shocked if they traded all the way up for another one of these guys. My feeling here is quarterback, and we should momentarily be getting the pick and everything. And please, for those of you who are following along, please leave a comment if you like the coverage, or even if you don't like the coverage. What can we do better? What can we do to excite you? If your team is taking a draft pick, tell us how you feel about it. You know, Chicago fans, how do you feel about Mitchell Trubisky being the next franchise guy? I mean, you just had Jay Cutler, he's gone. You have Mike Glennon now, obviously now for the interim, and Mitchell Trubisky is your future. How do you feel about that? And especially giving up all that stuff to go up one more pick to get him. How do you feel, Browns fans, about Myles Garrett being the face of your franchise? How do you feel, Los Angeles Chargers fans, with Mike Williams being a new toy and a new weapon for Phillip Rivers? And Chiefs fans, how do you feel, if you can, real quick, what's your prediction before this pick gets in right now as to who will be the guy for the Chiefs? And how do you feel about giving up significant capital to move up all the way for whoever this player is? Good, bad, and what? So also interesting to note, as we're getting outside the top 10, 2 running backs taken in the top 10. We've had a few drafts where running backs haven't been taken at all, where they've been drafted a little lower. So it's good to see the running back position maybe making a little bit of a rise, a little bit more value again. So Roger Goodell is making the announcement. There it is. It is Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for the Chiefs, and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, who was at one point being talked about as the number 1 overall pick in this draft, will be at very best the 3rd quarterback taken in this draft. And that is incredible. Another incredible rise for a quarterback. Mahomes, who even a month ago was projected as a 2nd rounder, is the 10th overall pick. That's incredible, and it makes sense. You're not going to pay that type of bounty unless you're getting the quarterback. The clock is now ticking on Alex Smith officially, so it'll be interesting to see what Alex Smith thinks. You know, he's certainly not young, but he's not the oldest quarterback in the world. And you know, a lot of Chiefs fans and a lot of NFL fans have talked about Alex Smith being, you know, a good quarterback, but not the guy to take you to the next step. And we saw this happen with San Francisco when they traded Alex Smith to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they went with Kaepernick, who had more versatility and everything. Obviously, it didn't work out for the 49ers, but I mean the clock's ticking now for Alex Smith. Krishna.
Why is Deshaun Watson dropping? Did something happen? Did some new information come out? Are people just bored?
I don't think so. I think it's just I just don't think he has the certain measurables that scouts and personnel guys look at. Like, people love Mahomes because of his arm strength and everything, and the same
The
thing
Brett
with
Favre
Trubisky.
mentality.
Well, it's not even that. They don't love it. While Deshaun is dropping because he doesn't have the measurables. He has the success though. I mean, he led Clemson to a national title in the
Right.
college football playoff. So it's interesting to see the measurable getting more than the production. And Deshaun has even talked about how people will regret it to come, and I think they might. You know, I like Deshaun Watson. You know, I don't think this is a great quarterback draft, but but my feeling here is he's going to be better than both these guys.
Wow.
He's going to be better than Trubisky and certainly better than Mahomes. He's the next Brock Osweiler to me. Just another tall quarterback who's got the physical attributes.
We're talking about Trubisky here?
We're talking about Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes.
Mahomes
He's
is-
like 6'2", right?
Mahomes is 6'6".
I thought it said 6'2".
No, Mahomes is a taller quarterback.
Oh.
He's a bigger guy.
Yeah. I thought it said just now 6'2". About Mahomes.
Let me check it real quick.
Let us do some fact checking. Producer?
Mr. Producer. Hold on, I got it.
How dare you? Also, I just want to point out I have this Stormtrooper rifle.
Oh, Mahomes is 6'2". I'm thinking of Davis Webb, but Mahomes certainly has the Mahomes. I don't know why I made that mistake. Sorry, people, for providing you.
So
incorrect
rare
information.
mistake by our insider expert.
It's actually like 75% of the time it's a mistake, but
It's okay. I'm
But
going to
people-
take out our producer right now.
people certainly love. People love Mahomes because of the arm strength and the physical attributes.
Clearly mobile too, from what we from what we saw there on the tape.
Clearly mobile, you know, has the strength. It doesn't really have the. I don't know if he really has the productivity though that a Deshaun Watson has. So interesting to see both those guys taken. So two quarterbacks, two running backs, two wide receivers taken in the top 10.
Yeah, a lot more offense heavy than I was
Yeah,
expecting.
just what was it? Just 4 defensive players? No, how many? Two D linemen, a safety.
So I have a scenario for you then, right? Let me ask you this: since there are so many good to great defensive players left,
Sorry, 3 wide receivers. So only 3 defensive players taken in the top 10.
so since there are so many left, can you foresee? Perhaps I want you to call it. Actually, will the Patriots trade in the first round and grab one of these defensive players that clearly have fallen because so much of the offensive players are going right now? Call it.
It's gonna be tough.
I'm gonna say yes.
Well, now you look at the next 10 that are coming up, right? You've got New Orleans, Cleveland, Arizona, Philadelphia, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Washington, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, Denver, Detroit, Miami, New York, Oakland, Houston, Seattle. A lot of teams that really need defensive help, not maybe necessarily offensive help.
Right.
So you're
I was
going to
gonna
see
say,
you're
yeah.
going to see the defensive run here in the next 10. You know, with linemen, with the secondary guys. I don't foresee the Patriots having enough or willing to give up enough to get anywhere above that 20, 25 range.
I see.
And I think a lot of those good defensive players are going to be gone by then. Now, I think this is a conversation to revisit
What, toward the end?
in the next hour, once we're around pick 20, to see kind of what's left. If there's another run on quarterbacks, on some of these offensive skill positions, that will be interesting. Haven't seen a tight end taken, which is a little interesting. You know, some people thought we might see O.J. Howard taking the top 10. I have a feeling he might even be coming off right here at number 11. to the Saints. Now, they've talked about getting a corner. They obviously engaged with the Patriots in corner talk. We haven't seen a corner taken yet, and so they have their pick of the litter here. So it could be corner as well for the Saints, and that would all but seemingly kill anything that would be a trade for Malcolm Butler. The light has come on behind us. We are with the light. Hi, Christopher.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, should we tell Sarah about the Bears?
I have an app on my phone that tells me when they draft people.
Nice.
They traded. They made a trade.
They traded up and got your boy.
Oh, I
think you know
hate
who it
Mitchell
is, but-
Trubisky.
Trubisky.
He's a Tar Heel.
Trubisky.
Trubisky. That's what Dad would call him.
Trubisky.
So the Saints pick is in. I'm thinking corner here, and if it's an outside pick, I do think it
Yeah.
might be O.J. Howard at tight end.
Oh, that's really outside.
Well, it makes sense. Give Drew Brees, who's getting a little older, another weapon. He just lost one in Brandon Cooks. Give him a tight end, a young tight end. You can kind of make some moves. You really haven't replaced Jimmy Graham since he left.
Not even close.
You have some tight ends, and obviously Drew Brees can make, gold out of dust.
Yeah, apparently.
But
Is Colston still on that team? Marquise Colston?
Marquise is not on that team anymore,
Okay.
I don't think. So for any fans out there who are watching, following along, please leave us your comments. About this draft, about your team, about life in general.
Yes.
Christian's.
Yes, I will. We'll try and answer your
Jonathan
life
Allen
questions
is also
too.
still on the board.
That's insane.
Who a lot of people, including Mike Mayock, had as their number 2 overall prospect.
Patriots,
Number
trade
11.
up and go get him.
Now there's got to be. You have to start wondering if there's
I'm
a
just
reason.
kidding, don't do
You
that.
have Marcus Lattimore. You have some of the other corners, Adoree Jackson. So it might be Lattimore here. I think it's either Lattimore or O.J. Howard, but maybe it's Allen too because he's still there. The Saints probably never envisioned a scenario where they would take him.
Why wouldn't you? Also, Toronto is beating Milwaukee by 4, 78-74, with 4 minutes left in the fourth. At one point, Toronto was up at about 16 over Milwaukee, so Milwaukee has closed the gap. Toronto is up in the series 3-2, so it is a must-win
No one gives
for
a crap
Milwaukee.
about basketball.
Oh, Milwaukee.
I like basketball.
Milwaukee just made a 3. It's 78-77. Snap. I don't think it's an and one.
So there it is. It is the cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore. And that makes a lot of sense. The Saints were very clear about their desire in this draft or in the offseason to get a corner. That's talked about all the Malcolm Butler trade talks that had happened. With this
Does this take the
yes,
Malcolm?
absolutely.
Take the Butler trade off?
I wouldn't say absolutely, but why would you trade the 32nd overall pick for another corner who's also going to be a free agent and you have to give big money to when you just drafted one? Probably doesn't make the most sense.
To really beef up your secondary quickly?
To beef it up quickly, but I don't know. I don't know.
We have a question here. June, this is probably going to be for you. Who's going to pick
Joe Mixon. So
Joe Mixon, yeah.
Joe Mixon's the running back who got into some legal trouble.
Oh, right, okay.
He reportedly struck a female. There was a whole investigation and everything, and honestly, that's a good question. Who is it, Michael?
Yes.
So Michael, that's a good question, just because it's always tricky in these situations. Mixon's obviously, if just on the field, very talented, but with a big red flag like this, and you can put Gary and Conley into this, as he had the rape investigation and allegation that came up earlier this week. When those red flags kind of come up,
people drop.
They drop, and they drop fast. But at the same time, all it takes is one team to take a chance.
I'm gonna say he goes in the second round. I'm guessing. I don't know who would take him, but I would think it's the second round. So.
Yeah, I think it
Do you
might
want
be
that
lower
over
than
there? Do you
that.
want that over
Yeah,
there?
I do want that food.
Look, I dropped it.
Sarah. Oh, Christian, do you want some? Do you want some French fries, Christian? Why don't you eat one?
I can't.
We just got another question from Christian Brown. What is the Steelers? What are the Steelers going to draft? That's also a good question. In our mock draft, I actually had them taking a quarterback. The reason I kind of had them going quarterback was just because Big Ben is getting older. You know, every single year he has a different ailment. He's talked about potential retirement. Christian, it's hard to say who it's going to be because it's really going to depend on how this draft goes. Now, we've had 2 quarterbacks taken. Could Deshaun Watson potentially be there
for the Steelers?
For the Steelers at number 30, that would be an interesting scenario for them.
I think they're going defense.
They definitely need some defensive help.
Mm-hmm. They gotta rebuild they're built on defense. They gotta rebuild that.
Their defense is young. They have some nice secondary pieces.
Go get a linebacker. They need a linebacker.
Go get a linebacker.
Yeah.
We have a trade here.
Oh.
Cleveland was at number 12. The Texans have traded up, and they're taking a quarterback. They're taking Deshaun Watson, 100%.
Houston needs it. So this trade actually makes a lot of sense for them, especially if they think Deshaun Watson is the guy. Now, what would you do if it was Kaiser?
Wow, I would be shocked at that point. But Deshaun Watson has fallen so low. So
Yeah. We have another question. What do you think about the Bears trading a pick for Mitch?
I don't think it's a great trade for them. I think they gave up a lot for a quarterback who's far away. I think is 2 years away from really being starter ready in the NFL.
He may never be starter.
And they gave up a lot. They really gave up a lot just to move up 1 pick. They gave up the extra 3rd, the extra 4th.
Mm-hmm.
For players that the Bears need a lot of help, and the best way to build depth is to have more picks in a draft, especially for a roster that's kind of bereft of talent. Now, maybe Trubisky turns out to be a once in a generational talent, and that's obviously what the Bears think. That's why they make the trade, but I don't know. How much better is Trubisky than any of the quarterbacks in this draft or next year's draft? You have Mike Glennon. You signed him. You clearly want him to be the starter. I mean, they must see something really special in Trubisky to go and get him.
You would hope so, unless they are that inept of an organization.
No, the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears. No offense. Well, I'm just saying if
recent history has proven the Bears. I mean, the Bears need some new.
All of history. Not a Fairweather fan.
Our own Sarah for LuZo Productions is a big Bears fan, so thank you, Christian and Manny, for sending in your questions. And if you guys want to send up some follow-up questions, please do. And anyone else has questions, please send it in.
Real quick on that trade, I think easily it's not even close. The 49ers won that trade.
Definitely.
And that trade, in my opinion,
Thomas, and they got the guy
and got Solomon Thomas. In
wanted.
my opinion, with that one trade, I think San Francisco has set them up for potentially having the best draft this year, because they just gave themselves three more picks.
So we're getting the details right now of what the Browns hauled in. Wow, this is a great trade for Cleveland. They just moved down 13 spots to 25, but they pick up Houston's first-round pick next year.
Wow,
that's incredible. I think they have 3 first-round picks, maybe. No, I think they only have 2, but they have 2 first-round picks next year and 3 second-rounders. Cleveland is setting up themselves very nicely to have a lot of good picks.
Not to mention they still have the 25th pick this year, right?
Right, now they have the 25th. They still have another first-rounder in this year's draft. Now, it's interesting. They're at 25, which seems like a really nice spot for the Patriots as well. Maybe the Patriots give Cleveland a call. Maybe flip them a quarterback named Jimmy Garoppolo, especially now that they have some first-rounders next year and some second-rounders next year.
Yeah, they're kind of high on Jimmy, though, for the 20. I don't know.
Maybe they are, but maybe this is all part of the Patriots' plan.
The Patriots have contingency plans for contingency plans. Why is that guy standing up? He's making me nervous. How's that fry? Describe it to me.
It's real good. It's like really good.
Oh, man, I can taste it. Holy crap. Milwaukee has taken the lead. Oh, no, Toronto just tied it back. Milwaukee was up after being down, I believe, 16 earlier in the third quarter. It's now a tie game with 2 minutes left at 82 apiece. Again, Raptors lead that series 3-2. It's a must-win for Milwaukee. It's going to be a wild finish, that one. I might
I'd
have
be
to
shocked.
ignore you for a
I
second.
mean, Houston's pick is in, and we're about to get it, but I would be shocked
If it wasn't Deshaun Watson,
if it wasn't a quarterback. So
The Browns will pass on Wentz and Watson for the opportunity to choose another day.
we're talking about us.
about us.
I think so.
Oh, we have another question. Oh. Where does Dalvin Cook go?
Dalvin Cook is another guy that seems to be dropping. I think it's going to be at the end of the first round or the second round. Early second.
And
there it is. It is Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson is going to
Houston.
the Houston Texans, and he looks emotional. But you're saying Dalvin Cook at the end of the first, beginning of the second?
I think so.
Dalvin.
Thank you,
All right.
Super Fun Times.
Yeah. Appreciate the questions, folks. Keep them coming. Deshaun. And so you're thinking, wow. So what do you? Obviously, you liked the trade from Cleveland's standpoint. How do you like it from Texans? The Texans. They need a quarterback. You projected Deshaun to be better than Trubisky and the other guy.
Mahomes.
So what do you think of the trade for Houston?
I don't love it in this draft because, like, even though I like Deshaun more,
Yep.
I don't think a lot of these quarterbacks are going to be great. We have another question from Christian Brown. Is Myles Garrett worthy of the #1 pick? I think in this draft, yes. I think he's certainly. It's risky. He's definitely a speed and measurables guy who has some good college production. But I think he is because his ceiling is probably higher than any other prospect in this draft.
He's quarterback.
No, Myles Garrett. Any prospect in general. So I think he's certainly valuable because this is a guy that could be the best D end in the NFL in a couple years. And for a Browns team that needs blue chip players, you want to take the guy who's the best blue chip guy available. And Myles Garrett, to me, in this draft, seems like he's the guy. Now, again, like we talked about, just because you have the talent doesn't mean you're going to have a successful career. Going to Cleveland, where there's not a lot of talent, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Myles to produce and kind of be the guy in Cleveland. So we have a cat that's kind of begging us for food right now.
like upside down. That's great. Who do you think will be the steal of the draft?
Great question. We probably haven't seen it yet.
You don't see steals normally in the first round. Mm-hmm. But it's going to end up being one of the injured guys. It's going to be like a Jake Butt. Jake Butt, the tight end from Michigan.
But
Who had the torn ACL, and that's what you kind of normally end up seeing. I mean, go back to Rob Gronkowski in 2010. He fell to a second round, and he's turned into perhaps one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Mm-hmm. Now he fell because of that injury concern, but it's guys who fall, whether it be for an off-season altercation, whether it be for an injury. So it's going to be some of these guys who are first-round talents who end up falling. It's either that or it's a guy we've never heard of.
right,
Because that's kind of what ends up happening.
like a Tom Brady.
A Dak Prescott from last year.
Yeah.
A Tom Brady from a few years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I don't necessarily agree with this. Now, at quarterback, people are high on Davis Webb, who they think could be a potential end of the first round type of pick. And
That's the 6'6" guy, right?
I think he's the taller guy who people think he could be a really good guy. So,
Great question, Manny.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
Keep the questions coming. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Christian, for the Myles Garrett, and then Super Fun Times for the Dalvin Cook question. Guys, keep bringing the heat. Keep bringing the fire. So Deshaun to Houston. Who is Super Fun Times ask who's our favorite player in this year's draft?
Oh man,
Krishna, do you have one?
I don't think I have one. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am not as into the draft as my
I will say a
coworker.
quick side note: this milkshake, delicious. Shout out to Chick-fil-A.
Who's your favorite player, Junior? You've done a lot more time scouting these guys.
I think Mike Williams is definitely one of my favorite players.
The big receiver?
the wide receiver from Clemson. I think he's a special guy. He's a special young man. He's so special.
Why would you say it that way?
He's a
You've
special
clearly
talent.
never
Special
seen
talent.
watched ESPN before. He's a
guy.
special man.
Special.
Uh,
I definitely like him a lot. Jamal Adams, the safety. As much as it pains me to see him go to the Jets,
yeah.
I do think Jamal, the LSU safety, is a good guy.
Is he destined to pick off Brady? A lot.
He might be. But I think I like those guys a lot. I do like OJ Howard,
The tight end.
Alabama tight end. I think he could be a special guy. I've had dreams where the Patriots maybe trade up and get him. I think that would be great.
I will say a couple of years ago, I was really high on Leonard Fournette. Like, I thought, I definitely I bought into the hype. I thought he was going to be, or he is going to be, like, a huge deal. I thought he was going to revolutionize the running back position.
A lot of people thought he could have been the number 1 overall pick.
Last year, right?
Leonard Fournette?
Yeah.
This year's draft.
Because I think he was eligible to go in last year, and people were surprised that he
We got a
didn't.
couple more questions from Manny and Steven. Do you guys think that Deshaun Watson is the answer to the Texans' offense? You know what? I actually think Watson is a good fit for Texans, especially with DeAndre Hopkins. They have a solid running game. They have Will Fuller, another wide receiver. So I think they have some pieces there. And Deshaun is going into the best situation of the quarterbacks taken so far. Now Mahomes is obviously going to sit for a while, behind Alex Smith, but offensively they don't have a ton. And then, with Mitchell Trubisky in Chicago, it's going to be Mike Glennon for a few years. But they lost Alshon Jeffrey. They don't have a lot of offensive talent as of right now.
The next question is, who's the Eagles' pick since the 3 top receivers are off the board?
Say that one more. Wait, what is the Eagles' pick since the 3? Well, the Eagles addressed the wide receiver position in free agency. They signed Alshon Jeffrey. They signed Torrey Smith. Maybe they go. Depending on how this goes, they're on the clock next. Maybe they go tight end. We still haven't seen the tight end taken. Maybe it's OJ Howard to kind of team up with Brent Selleck. I think Brent Selleck is still there. Just to give Carson Wentz more options. Again, for the young quarterbacks, it's about getting them weapons. And then finally, can you compare Mike Williams to Sammy Watkins? That's an interesting comparison. I see Mike Williams as more physical as Sammy Watkins.
Oh, wow.
The problem that I've seen with Sammy Watkins, especially in Buffalo, is I don't want to say soft because that's kind of mean, but he's kind of soft. He's a guy that kind of feels like he gives up on times and doesn't win in the one-on-one battles. So I actually think Mike Williams is better than Sammy Watkins down there. But yeah, thank you, Super Fun Times, Steven and Manny for bringing in the questions. Keep bringing them in. We're really enjoying it. We're really liking it and everything. So J.J. Watt, according to the NFL Network, tweeting at Deshaun Watson, welcome. So
Welcome
to the Lateral.
to the Texans.
So what do we see the Cardinals doing here at 13?
Cardinals, man, they need help. Yeah.
Definitely not quarterback. I mean, unless they're really high on Davis Webb or maybe Deshaun Kaiser here.
Yeah, this seems a little high for both of those guys, right? So
Definitely a
I don't
little
know.
too high.
Let-
There's
who
still a
did
lot
we-
of
who did
defensive
we
talent.
have
There's still some
originally?
defensive guys. There's
There's a
Jonathan
lot.
Allen.
There's a
Jonathan
lot.
Allen is still on the.
How is
on
Jonathan
the,
Allen still on the board?
Still there. We still have.
I had
we
Reuben
still have
Foster
some-
going
some
to the
co-
Cardinals, who's the linebacker.
That would be a good pick as well, but it almost seems too high now because of some of the defensive talent still there.
Yeah.
With all the defensive guys taken. I think Jonathan Allen makes a lot of. Just go for the best available here.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Did something happen to Allen? As in, like, does the public always know when information comes out
About a player, let's say like a failed drug test, if it just happened right before the draft, would we hear about those things?
Yeah,
right away?
I mean, we eventually do hear about it. But the ones that come up right before the combine, well, I'm sorry, right before the draft are what affects everything the most because there's less time to research on how legitimate it is or not. So you kind of go with worst case scenario, it's as bad as possible, and you stay away from the guy.
Couple comments here.
We got a couple comments. Super Fun Times feelings about T.J. Watt. I think he might be one of the more overrated players in the draft. If he didn't have the last name Watt, I think he's a mid-round, third, fourth-round guy. He's inevitably going to be taken higher in the first or second for teams that think he could be something like JJ. Now, he's a smaller guy. He's more of a linebacker than a D lineman.
He needs to fill out a lot. I think.
Right. We have
He's
another
not-
comment that says the Cardinals will go D-line. And I think that would make a lot of sense. They'll make a
Yeah.
lot of sense for the Cardinals.
We shall see.
You go. I mean, you have Calais Campbell, you have Chandler Jones. Add another D line there. And they have a good defense. They had a top 10 defense last year, so you keep adding to that. So we have the pick. We have the Arizona Cardinals pick coming in. Whoa, interesting.
Oh, they went what?
Now Hassan Reddick is one of the fastest rises in this draft. This is a guy that really lit it up at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
And just continued to rise throughout the whole pre-draft evaluations, from the combine to his pro day to now to be the 13th pick. And
So we got it right with the linebacker part.
you did get it right, but they're taking
wrong one,
Hassan
though.
Reddick from Temple, who
Not the wrong one.
very athletic guy, a guy who can
Hassan Reddick.
bring some versatility. So, and it makes sense. So the Cardinals do need some linebacker help. They're good on the line and they're good in the secondary. So we got another question. We got another comment here. TJ Watt should go to the Packers. We need someone who knows how to tackle like hell. And you're right. The Packers definitely need some help everywhere on defense. And if they believe.
I actually had so in our mock draft, I actually had TJ Watt going way too high to Packer rivals, the Lions, at 21.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why I picked that. It just seemed like a good idea at the time.
I think Watt is going to be a first-round pick.
You'd think so.
I don't think he should be, but
Yeah.
he probably will be.
Yeah.
And
The
TJ Watt would be interesting for the Packers.
Hmm.
My fear for you, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm really blind.
It's
Gurgala?
Bergala.
I think.
I love that. I love the name.
I think my biggest concern with TJ Watt is he's just not. He's just kind of a guy. He reminds me almost of like a Shea McClellan, kind of average.
He's a bum.
Uh,
He's a bum.
Manny Campa just asked, who will the Seahawks select? They should take an offensive lineman, and they should be set up pretty nicely at the end of the first, especially for a draft that's quote-unquote weak.
It's very
at that
possible
position.
not a single offensive lineman will be
Very
taken until
possible.
the Seahawks pick.
And we're now starting to see a little bit of a run. I would figure now on defense that you're definitely going to probably have some of your top O linemen, and you've got to help that line, help Russell Wilson out. But then maybe as well, if Richard Sherman really wants out, maybe you go corner as well. That might be a position to watch as well.
Real quick update on the Toronto-Milwaukee game. After Milwaukee tied it up, Toronto's got a little run here. There are 24 seconds left, and they are up 89-84. So if Toronto wins this game, it's series over, and Toronto will be moving on.
Any guesses on who the Browns will pick with 25?
My gut tells me
Kaiser.
they're gathering. They have a lot of ammunition right now. They wanted a franchise quarterback. We heard the rumor from Ian Rappaport and through the Twitter sphere that maybe they're looking at Kirk Cousins, as Jimmy Garoppolo seems to be off the table. They have more first-round picks now. They have some for next year. They have a lot of second-round picks.
Do they make the Patriots the Godfather offer?
They might make the Patriots a Godfather offer for Jimmy Garoppolo. They might end up using that to trade for Kirk Cousins. If they do, my feeling is they trade that pick. They maybe trade down again.
Wow.
They maybe use that to trade for a quarterback. I don't think it seems like they wanted Trubisky or bust, and now some of the top guys are gone. I don't know if they want them. My guess is that, but if they do stick around, I think they go for what basically the best offensive piece available, whether that be a tight end, whether that be maybe a wide receiver, maybe it's a running back. Later, who knows? Maybe they take a risk on a Dalvin Cook. They're at 25, but my gut tells me right now, I don't think they're there at 25.
Interesting.
What are you feeling here at Philadelphia? I think I talked about earlier maybe O.J. Howard teaming up with Brent Selleck.
I don't know. I can't even venture a guess because I literally have no idea. After the first 10 picks, it becomes a crapshoot, I think. You guys okay? They're plotting something.
They keep making fun of us. They've been laughing at us the whole time.
It's because they're drunk.
Probably.
You just say it.
Never mind.
Somebody wants to borrow your milkshake.
Wait, why do you want my milk?
Wait, why don't you get a really long straw and be like, my straw goes all the way across the room into your milk. I don't know the line. Ravi's actually really good at it. Maybe our producer will say it for her. Oh, we have another question.
Oh, first we have
We have two important questions. So, Super Fun Times asks, who's your favorite team?
Bears.
Our Sarah over there is a Bears fan. Me and Arjuna, and actually the person who was just in frame just a second ago, we're all from, and our producer actually, all from New Hampshire. I assume most of us, if not all four of us, are Patriots fans. Sorry if that offends you. Sorry, not sorry. We're the champs.
Bears.
Go Red Sox.
Go Red Sox, bitch.
Ravi's a Bears fan, apparently. Sorry, Ravi.
I think Ravi's a fan of the quickest way for the football games to end.
okay. So
Gargala Barbala has an interesting comment. He says, seeing him at Wisconsin.
Talking about TJ Watt here.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely not just what. I'm gonna bring this closer. There we go. Let's see. He's definitely not just what he had to carry with our two best linebackers down for the season. He proves himself there, which is also why he's so high. So his motor, I don't think has ever been questioned. That's for sure.
No, I definitely don't think his motor has been questioned. I think what I question is, especially at the linebacker position, especially in today's NFL, you have to be ultra athletic. The linebacker position, you've got to be as fast as a safety in a corner, and you've got to hit as hard as a D end. And I don't know if TJ Watt has that versatility. He's definitely got a motor. He's definitely got some speed and can contribute to a team. But I think if you're taking him in the first round, he's not going to be a 3-down, all-pro type linebacker. He's going to be a first or second down, run-stopping type linebacker in the NFL. And I just don't think he's a guy you can trust on passing situations. I don't know necessarily know if he's a guy you can, convert to it as a designated pass rusher, and whatnot. I think he can succeed in the NFL in a very niche way in certain situations. He's more of a part-time NFL player. So Derek Barnett just got taken by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's a great pick for them. They need some defensive help, and they get a nice pass rusher there in Barnett, who's got a nice motor from Tennessee. Fast, athletic guy.
We have a couple of comments here. Who do you think the Cowboys will choose?
Again, it's really going to depend on
Who's taken?
on who's taken and what. The Cowboys are in a good situation. That they are 13-3 and don't have a lot of needs. They can kind of take best available. Probably, I would imagine maybe something on the defense, maybe something and whatnot. But again, we'll see. It's really going to depend on how it falls, and maybe they're a team that also is willing to trade with someone that's trying to trade back up in the first round and maybe take one of these quarterbacks, maybe Davis Webb, maybe Deshaun Kaiser, to get that fifth-year option.
And then Super Fun Times, he says, I'm a Raiders fan. I'll be leaving now. See you in the AFC Championship. We actually love the Raiders. But yeah, thank you for all of your comments, Super Fun Times. I'm sure we will see you in the championship game. That would be a hell of a game. That is for sure. Nails.
Oh, so please subscribe. For those of you who have been watching and have enjoyed our content, please subscribe on YouTube.
YouTube and Facebook.
And Facebook and
we actually release a weekly podcast called The Lateral, where we talk about sports things like the sports balls, as our peoples like to say. So, if you like what we have to say, or if you're interested in hearing more, definitely check that out. You can check it out through LuZoProductions.com. You can subscribe and listen to the podcast through iTunes. Yeah, it comes out once a week. It varies by time, but we've got the last few episodes up there, so definitely feel free to check that out.
Absolutely.
Nails 7.
Talking about Mike Williams, maybe going to be a bust because he's slow and he can't jump.
Can't jump high.
He can't jump high. We shall see if that's true. Nails. I mean, I personally like Mike Williams, but the whole draft and the evaluation process it's subjective, right? What's going to translate? What's not going to translate? I like Mike Williams, but like any of these players in this draft, we just don't know if they're going to work out. Gurgler Burglar talking about Barnett, saying he can hit. He hits hard as a D end at the Big Ten running backs. We'll assure you. Nail Seven saying he hopes they don't take Jabril Peppers because he's a Ravens fan. Also looking for. He's looking at the Colts, maybe not to take Peppers. I think Jabril at 16 might be a little bit too high, especially Jabril. Fair or not, he had the diluted test at the combine, which could cause him to drop a little. And I think you could honestly, get Jabril in the second round. Here, for Baltimore, maybe you look at one of these tight ends who still are available. O.J. Howard is still available, and I think right there at 16, that'd be a nice place to get Joe Flacco another weapon. I know Dennis Pitta had a pretty good year last year. Coming back from all those major injuries, but you can never have enough tight ends in the NFL. They are such chess pieces, and especially if you can get athletic ones that can block and catch.
I want to wait for the first team that lands up 5 tight ends.
That's never going to happen.
No, 5. 4 tight ends and a running back. But
correct,
it was positive.
correct, Niels. It was positive. It was a positive diluted test, which has, obviously, and fairly so, raised some red flags to some teams. So I think you could get Jabril, though, in the second, most likely. But again, as we've talked about, all it takes is one team to maybe not do that. And as a previous commentator asked, what are the Cowboys going to do if Jabril is there at the end of at the end of the first round? Maybe they feel like right there he might be a good pick and a good selection.
Now, a monster truly does approach this time. I might have been lying last time, but now there's a beast.
Here you go, sir, Mr. Producer. You can have the rest of these tries.
Thank you.
Robbie, do you want to talk to us about what that thing on your head is?
I'm just feeling really
angry. They look cool.
warned.
Is the itchiness still there? Don't touch it.
This is for my Savaggio press.
Correct, Nails. He did drink. I mean, he has said that he drank 6 to 8 bottles, which can dilute the sample. Also, Jabril Peppers was the first player at the Combine to work out with 2 different groups. He worked out with both the linebackers and the safeties. And his agents have said that they were concerned about the dehydrations and everything like that.
Gargala Babala. Who will the Packers pick 29th? No offensive lineman, please. We got a guy from the Saints off of free agency yesterday. Actually, didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was more of a minor. It was more of a minor signing. Nothing too major. I think the Packers really have to go defense. Honestly,
corner. They need to go corner.
They really need help at all 3 levels of.
Whoever the best available corner is, go get that guy.
I think you go best available on defense in general, and whoever that may be at that point. But I definitely think defense is the way to go, and I think. Especially with this run now on defensive players, with some having dropped because of the big run in the first 10, this might be a situation where Green Bay moves up a little bit to go get a blue chipper that they really like.
Sign a quarterback.
Green Bay's not terribly far away, obviously.
I'm just kidding.
In the NFL, so I think this is maybe go there. Guys, thank you for sending in questions and comments. Niles, Gurgla, Burgla, and all of you, please keep sending them in and comments. And if you like what we're saying and you like sports stuff and everything, you can check out our channels on YouTube, on Facebook at LuZo Productions, and you can subscribe. So that's it. That's a good point, Nails. How long does the Colts pick take? Unfortunately, it's all dictated by the TV and how long I guess Roger can get to the stadium, to the mic. His smile right there.
Oh God, Roger's a demon.
In the 2017 NFL Draft,
That's a good pick
okay,
right
there we
there.
go.
Malik is a good safety.
So for those of you who can't hear that, the Colts just
Selected
selected
Malik
Malik Hooker,
Hooker.
the safety. I'm sorry, the safety. So, hey, he's big though, 6'1", huh?
Yep, he's a pretty athletic safety, and the Colts certainly need defensive help. He could certainly help their secondary and help that out.
This gives them the ability, if I read this correctly,
Oh, we have some great questions here.
starts at safety.
I want to get to the football, like the more draft ones related, real quick. Gurgler Burglar saying, "Yep, Lattimore was taken." A D lineman. You're right. Ted Thompson doesn't move up, but he also signed Martellus Bennett in the offseason to a solid deal, and he's been known to make some exceptions every now and then. I wouldn't be shocked if he traded up a couple picks. It's not going to be a massive overreach. It might be a value type of thing, though. The Ravens are on the clock. Do we think the Green Bay would take a Jory Jackson? I think that would be a nice pick right there. We shall see. Now, the question at Krishna that you kind of want to read.
This is from of Lopez 02. What is your opinion on the NFL stance on marijuana? Should it be that big of a deal since it doesn't give players an advantage? But just more pain relief, in my opinion, it shouldn't be.
Sorry, it's a question on what is our stance on the NFL's, or what's our opinion of the NFL stance on marijuana?
I think it's outdated. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's an outdated stance. Marijuana is becoming legal in, a lot of states, and especially medically. And it's certainly, socially not as frowned upon anymore as... Are you raising your hand, Mr. Producer?
Oh, I have tons of opinions on this.
Sure, yeah. Our Mr. Producer is...
Hi, how you doing? The big thing is businesses will pick will pick federal over state every single time, especially for business.
Federal law over state law, yeah.
Federal over state law, especially for businesses, corporations that are multi-state, they will always pick. So I personally think that the NFL should stick with the federal law over the state law. So
I mean, it
make
makes sense
marijuana
that-
legal.
And that makes sense since it's played in a lot of states, so that's probably exactly what they would do.
The NFL is just one gigantic corporation. The players
Those are good points, but the NFL, I mean, the NFL owners and the NFL Players Association are looking into revising their marijuana policy simply because it's affected a lot of top players getting suspended for something that's seen as a misdemeanor, and the bottom line is it's a business that makes money, and if the product hurts where your top players are out, and which hurts your money, they're going to change that rule. I think it's a matter of time if it gets changed. Again, because that public is shifting. Yes, in the federal law and corporate America still frowns upon it, but we are seeing a shift in that type of thinking. You're seeing a lot more corporations, not look into that more hardcore, with quote unquote drug tests and everything like that. So I think eventually we will see a change. I don't know how soon it'll be. I will say the NFL is generally one of the last to kind of adopt.
Yep.
So we need to see probably a little bit more change in the national scope, which would be more states legalizing and then a federal legalization, which I don't know. I'm not
A drug
educated. I'm not educated enough
Yeah.
on the subject to know how far along that really is. I know living in California, it is will be legal here at the end of the year, I believe.
Yeah. End of the year, beginning of next year, or something like that. I think a bunch of stuff happened. Do you know who Green Bay took?
No, Green Bay hasn't drafted yet. Green Bay's at the end. The Baltimore Ravens are on.
Oh,
right
okay.
now,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm all messed up right now.
So
Cool. Okay.
we're all caught up on our comments.
We're all caught up? Okay, we are. Cool. Hey, guys, appreciate the both the questions, the comments, and the conversation. It's very cool that you guys are really into this. That's what we like to see. We like to see passion. So keep it up.
Still on the board, Reuben Foster and Jonathan Allen. So let's take a quick look at why these
I wonder, could we perhaps see Jonathan Allen here with Baltimore? Oh, whoa.
Wait, what happened?
He said they look bad, but he had no symptoms during this past season. He believes it is something he will be able to work through. Teams clearly, though, are concerned about those shoulders. As for Reuben Foster, also
Okay, so there's a.
that is on schedule. Really, the concern here is the diluted sample at the combine. Now, I talked to Foster.
So Jonathan Allen, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, has fallen because of some shoulder issues, some arthritis in there. That's interesting because we might continue to see him fall.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see one of these teams like the Patriots, maybe the Vikings or the Rams even, without a first-round pick, trade if he falls to the end of the first round? Perhaps trading up if he's maybe available there, or they feel like another team and they really feel like he's a top prospect. Reuben Foster isn't surprising. We had heard about the blow-up at the Combine and then of the failed sample, so that's not crazy. So
I will say, if he goes to the Patriots, that's probably the best franchise he could go to, because then he can take up Tom Brady's regimen and completely reduce that arthritis using the TB12 method of reducing all inflammatory foods, removing them from your diet, and he would have a long, productive career and life. The Ravens are up, and Roger Goodell approaches.
they're going kicker. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine the outrage?
Gargala Barbara thinks they might take like a tough receiver,
Maybe a tight end.
maybe a tight end, because they did lose Steve Smith, which is a great point.
Steve Smith did retire.
I can't believe how productive he was even at the end of his career. Like, that guy is a true Iron Man. Really is.
TJ is 14 years old. He's a cancer survivor. He loves to play football and watches.
Now it says maybe the second round for the wide receiver for the Ravens. Not a bad move.
I mean,
I'm
they
a big
certainly,
fa- I'm
they
a big-
certainly have their pick.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They have a few things to go.
With the 16th
Here we go.
pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Marlon Humphrey, defensive back from
So there we go. So Marlon Humphrey has gone.
The cornerback to the
Baltimore
Ravens, which makes a lot of sense.
That does. I mean,
Yeah.
Baltimore needs some defensive help. They
They got to rebuild that identity.
Their identity has been for many years.
Run the ball, play
they're-
defense,
they're-
do
they're-
play action.
that especially in the AFC North, that's been really the a big identity of that division, especially with Pittsburgh in there. So
Dallas Cowboys, so I just see good things for the defense. And obviously in the middle, we got C.J. Mosley, Alabama guy as well.
Well, they want to get back to playing Ravens football on defense, and Marlon Humphrey gives them that opportunity, especially in their division. We got to chase around A.J. Green, and of course Cincinnati just got back.
correct, Burglar. That the kicker taken. I mean, a few kickers have been taken in the first round over the years. I think the most recent was the Raiders with Janikowski a few years back. He was the first rounder. I'm almost positive.
Maybe definitely a top 3 rounder, I think, maybe. Yeah, back in the 80s.
And then obviously you had Roberto Aguayo taken in the second round by the Bucks last year.
Unbelievable. Speaking of which, Buccaneers are picking after the Redskins and Titans at number 19. So how are we looking? How completely destroyed is our board? It's completely destroyed.
I stopped looking at
Yeah.
it a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Janikowski was taken in the first round, 17th
It was
overall
first round,
in
damn.
2000.
Damn. Kickers shouldn't go above the 4th round. If you're really good as a kicker, it should be 4th round. But maybe not. What do you guys think? If you have a great kicker, I mean, how do you even quantify?
Niles brings up a great point. You know, Baltimore had a pretty good defense last year statistically.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm not familiar enough with the Ravens' contract situations and everything. But I think just looking at it from an outsider's perspective and looking over their roster, you know, I think corner depth is obviously very important. Especially, you know, Baltimore's going against Pittsburgh, who have a lot of weapons offensively. You know, you're going against Cincinnati. You have A.J. Green. Now you have John Ross in Cincinnati. Tyler Eifert. So you look in your division, and it kind of makes sense, right? You're matching up with your division, how to beat them. That certainly helps. But Niles, I don't disagree with you. I certainly agree with you. You know, Joe Flacco needs some O-line help. Could have probably done with an offensive weapon or two, maybe. But you know, at the end of the day, if especially in Baltimore with Oz and Newsome, very much trusting your board and taking best available, and that must be it. I mean, the best available on the board was him. So,
No, we lost our stream.
I think our feed is slightly frozen.
Only slightly, though. Oh. We have sound. Wow, at least we're over halfway through. We made it 50%. There's something wrong with your TV.
Our NFL Network feed has frozen.
Should we just come out of it, go back in?
Did it just happen, or?
No, it's been like this for half an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Wow,
No.
You guys are really good at bullshitting then.
Thanks, Obama.
Gagaba wouldn't hit the Packers if they took a kick.
I don't know.
Second round.
And,
Nice.
also said Jankowski was worth it.
We have Java Jake from Twitch who's asking who went first overall.
Myles Garrett went first overall to Cleveland Browns.
And pet the cats for me, please.
We don't know where they went. I'm allergic.
And Packers
That was a cat, but.
Packers need a GB. Global border.
I'm pretty sure he probably meant
DB?
QB?
maybe he meant HB though, because H is right next to G on the keyboard, and the Packers did lose Eddie Lacy. So
Oh, maybe the Packers need Green Bay.
yeah, maybe the Packers.
Somebody named 21 Savage _ gay just said hey.
The best part is people can't hear what you're asking right now.
Yeah.
They can't,
hear
right?
you.
'Cause
there's no mic over
there's
there.
no mics.
Probably not, no.
That's really funny, though.
Oh, someone of Lopez was. Are we using Cody?
We are not using Cody. We're using the official NFL app.
We are not
We're
using Cody,
We're using the official NFL Network app.
It's all kosher.
It's all
and we
kosher,
promise
it's all
Roger
real.
Goodell is not making us say that.
Yeah, we wouldn't say anything nice about Roger if we didn't have to.
And we don't have to.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason not to say bad stuff.
So the person on Twitch just said 21 Savage is gay and we can hear him.
Oh, they can hear you. That's good.
Also, they can hear the producer or Mr. Producer, but he's not the 21 Savage person. He was just reading a comment on Twitch.
This is messed up though. The person's name is
Ah.
21 Savage is gay.
Oh,
That
okay,
means
okay.
they made an account just to troll you. You should feel honored. We're honored.
I'm gonna
whoever you
guess,
are.
Ravi, it's one of your friends,
I have no friends.
It's A1.
or it's Evelyn right at the table.
It's A.
That's impressive.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, we also promise Twitch user, whoever said it, we will pet the cats the next time they make an appearance. Hey, Oz.
He knows 21. He knows the rapper 21 Savage.
What?
We got nothing.
I stopped listening to you a while ago. Go away, Mr. Producer. Just kidding.
Gagaba says they need a punter bad.
Remember to lean into the mic because people can't hear
I'm
you.
telling you so you can comment.
Well, but people can't hear what you're asking, so then I'm just commenting to air.
They can hear Ravi.
I
Hey,
don't
wait,
know.
actually, let's do a test. Hey guys, type yes if you can hear me, even though my face is not near the mic. Oh, no one said yes.
It takes time, Krishna. It takes time. But yeah, just to answer some questions. The Packers do need a punter. Yeah, but you don't. I mean, you generally don't take a punter first or second round. You can get some good punters in the undrafted or in the late rounds.
Or you just go get an ex-soccer player. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. A goalie. Goalie's good at punting.
So what draft number are we on?
We're on the pick 17 for the Washington Redskins.
Somewhere around 17.
17, correct.
Over halfway. Oh, so they can hear me when I'm not near the mic.
There you go.
Perfect.
Gurgler
I'm free.
burglar.
I'm free, guys. I'm leaving. I'm just kidding.
No, don't
Actually,
leave.
Ravi, you don't need to put that thing up anymore. It's been blown up, so you don't even need to bother putting that up.
You can show it just to show how wrong we are.
That's true, but you don't need to show it for that long. Take it off. It's embarrassing.
I don't think it's that far off.
Really?
I'm not sure. I haven't been paying attention.
21 Savage's case.
So there it is. Washington just took Jonathan Allen, the defensive end from Alabama.
Oh, finally.
He had a bit of a drop, and you see this every single draft. A player that drops, and like we had talked about earlier and been reported on NFL Network by Ian Rappaport, some shoulder issues right there, and
Of Lopez called it.
nice.
Nice job, of Lopez. So there was an earlier comment saying who will be the steal of the draft. Jonathan Allen would definitely have to be a candidate now.
Certainly a candidate. If the talent is certainly there, and if obviously the check marks are the injury concerns, but if he can stay healthy, it seems, and lives up to the potential that has been projected, he could certainly be, a good guy with Washington. So that's definitely an interesting one to see. Ravi, what was the comment you said before?
From Twitch.
Somebody said that we are as fun. We are fun AF.
Nice.
He's lying. They're lying.
So the Titans,
We love you.
the Titans very quickly got their pick in. This is their.
Wow, the pick's already in.
This is their.
Wow, they didn't even hesitate.
This is their second pick.
Who was that first pick again?
Their first pick was Corey Davis, the wide receiver at number 5. It's actually funny because in our mock, I had them taking
Mike Williams.
and then I think Corey Davis at 18, he fell in our mock. I had taken another wide receiver. I don't think that happens, but could we see O.J. Howard at this point?
Oh,
That would be interesting.
that would be impressive.
Another offensive weapon for Marcus Mariota. Defensively, they do need a little bit of help.
For anyone who
They do need
cares,
some help.
or anyone who likes the NBA, Toronto did win. They defeated Milwaukee, so they won that series 4-2. So they will be playing LeBron James and the Cavs in the second round. I expect the Cavs to destroy them. The end.
If you like basketball talk and obviously football talk, you can subscribe to our podcast, The Lateral. You can find that on iTunes. It's also on Facebook and on our website, www.luzoproductions.com.
What was that? Oh, okay.
Very good.
Oh, thank you.
Very good, Mr. Producer.
There it is.
Yeah, I feel like this is a solid pick for Washington right here.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially if the talent lives up to the billing, right?
Definitely. What are you feeling right now with Tennessee here with their second first? They got the pick in pretty quickly. The pick's been in for a little while.
Oh, so annoying.
So it seems like they knew who they wanted. The guy that they wanted was there. They didn't really even think about it. They didn't want to trade. They wanted to take this guy, whoever it may be.
I would think of, I don't know, actually. Shoot. I'm thinking some kind of playmaker.
OF Lopez, I think, said OJ. Like, kind of, but that's kind of my feeling as well.
Oh, the tight end.
I mean, yeah, you just giving Mariota more weapons offensively, really opening it up for him. That makes it certainly makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to have a young offense all grow together. But we'll see. They added Logan Ryan in free agency. They let Jason McCourty go though, so maybe corner is another situation where, improve that secondary a little bit. So,
is Jason McCourty still unsigned?
Jason McCourty is a free agent currently. Yes.
You know what we have to do.
The Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're twins, right? That means they're psychic.
No, Krishna, that's not correct.
What? Yes, it is.
No. You're wrong.
Can you imagine two psychics on the field? Do we have another comment here?
Oh, Gurgler Burglar said they knew, just like the Texans when they traded up. Absolutely. I mean, and it's interesting to see. There are different, I mean, even they're just different philosophies in how to make a draft selection. Some teams let the clock run all the way down, always waiting for a trade call, see if there's a better situation. Some teams are just like, nope, we know exactly who we want. This is the guy. You know, we're going to take him no matter what. Like, if anyone's seen the movie, what was it? The movie with the draft movie with the Browns. What was it called again?
Draft day?
Draft Day. That's right. where he writes a sticky note for himself and he says, "Take X no matter what."
They took
Adoree Jackson, the corner
the
from
cornerback.
USC. So that's interesting. Like we talked about, they needed some corner help. They signed Logan Ryan, one of the top corners in free agency from the New England Patriots, to a 3-year deal. They let Jason McCourty go though, so getting Adoree certainly adds to that secondary, which they needed help in. That's a solid pick. I don't think it's terrible, and it's interesting to see. Obviously, again with Gary and Conley with the rape investigation ongoing. This is certain. He certainly was considered the number 2 guy. Now he's fallen a few spots though. So.
Gurgler Burglar does bring up a good point. I forgot about Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker is solid, but again,
Give Mariota another one.
Delaney, well, it's not even just getting him another one. Delaney is getting older and is solid, but could certainly use some help. And just thinking of the weapons, but yeah, I mean the Adoree is a good pick there as well. Buccaneers. So now we're seeing the picks kind of coming rapidly. Tampa Bay already has their pick in. I think we're starting to stack some of the picks here. Everyone's kind of sticking to their board, not really listening to trades at this point. There's still some good value and everything. Maybe we're seeing that defensive player run.
What number are we at?
We are at 19. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at 19.
And Christian believes David
Njoku.
Goku's brother.
Now, I will say that's interesting because we still haven't seen a tight end taken.
Yeah, it's gonna be Howard first, right? Okay.
You would think so, but again, we're not sure. Njoku is a popular guy. A lot of people like what he can bring physically. It really just takes one team. Adoree's solid. Adoree's definitely on that all-name NFL team, though. Adoree Jackson, Adoree's a great first name.
Don't know if you guys watch
Adoree.
Cam Peel, but they have a great 3-part sort of sketch series where they have this fake draft, and all the players coming out have very interesting names, like Quattro and Squeeps.
Or then they actually use some real players.
And the third one, they use some real players. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers.
Titans will win 10 games this year. True or false?
Oh.
It's interesting. The Titans, they're in such a weak division. You could totally see them win 10 games.
But will they?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say true. I think
Wow.
they can. I think they can get to 10 games. I definitely think they can get
Wow.
to 10 games.
Yeah. So, do you think that 10 games is enough to win the division? You're projecting them to win?
I think so. I think you can win the division at 10, especially that AFC South.
In that division, who would be their biggest threat, or the biggest? Who do you see them sort of fighting it out?
Certainly not Jacksonville.
with? Right.
I think they're still another year away from competing.
Perhaps maybe Leonard Fournette turns it around. I'm just kidding. It's not gonna happen.
Indianapolis,
No.
you don't know. I mean, they still haven't. They still need to prove to me that they can sustain it over a full season. And then you have Houston, which is certainly one of the more interesting teams.
They're a quarterback away, right? That's the popular
Yeah,
consensus.
and they just drafted Deshaun. A good defense. They have J.J. Watt coming back to kind of team up now with Jadeveon Clowney,
Mhm.
who had a breakout
That should
year.
be
So
nasty.
that would be interesting.
Should be. We'll see. They've never put it together at the same time.
The stream just died?
I think we need to.
You guys should blame Roger Goodell for his shitty network.
We do. We do.
Please don't hurt us, Mr. Watcher.
Say hello to my little friend. Are you drinking for the gun thing or?
They're drinking already, and I'm trying to
They're playing a drinking game at our expense.
We've been doing it for like the last hour and a half. I'm just catching up.
That explains why you're so drunk.
Rafi and I have been doing it like almost
You're slurring your words.
because y'all are predictable.
You drink again. Now that we kind of know what it is, we can.
We really don't.
Well, I just know them. I just know them on their soul level. We have water, by the way.
Every time I take a sip of water, you drink?
Yes.
There's white wine.
Are you talking about
Papa John's don't play. 2 liters. Chocolate pizzas for only $6.99. A deal so big it needs a replay. Double better pizza. Papa John's double play. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas for $6.99 each. Papa John's.
Tomorrow on a special edition of Half Kid Rock, we recap the entire first round of action from Philly.
All right, what's happening? The Spurs-Grizzlies game is also going on right now.
You should just do a running commentary of the whole thing.
LaMarcus Aldridge steps up to the line.
Oh, please don't.
Kawhi Leonard looks confused and sad and bored. Oh, that was a loud meow.
Hello, kitty cat.
Is he? Is she?
All right,
is she
okay,
in
nope,
frame?
Nope.
Yes.
Stop doing that, Lucy. People all over the internet are looking at your butt.
Do the Bucks reach for me?
No, not here.
No.
Not here.
Interesting.
I think there's a lot of talent left in this draft. I don't think you need to reach. But again, it's hard to. It's so hard to say because every draft board is different. Maybe they rate him differently. I wouldn't at this point. All right, here comes the Buccaneers selection at 19 overall. Roger is saying the pick, clearing his throat. There it is. O.J. Howard is off the board.
Finally.
The Buccaneers take him.
Oh, giving Jameis Winston a weapon there, huh?
Give Jameis a good tight end. Team
makes
him
a
up
lot
with
of
Mike
sense.
Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the mentality for like we talked about for these teams. You know, you build around the quarterback. Oh, you know, how do we make them better? And they also signed. Yeah, I forgot about this. They signed Deshaun Jackson in the offseason. They have Doug Martin at running back. That's a good offensive group right there.
Interesting. Yeah.
Winston, Martin, Evans, Jackson, now O.J. Howard as your starting tight end. That's a good group right there. I'm a little surprised O.J. Howard kind of fell to 19. The talks was he could be a top 10 pick. And then he fell out, and that makes sense. You know, tight end isn't one of those, picks that are absolutely needed, in the entire world, and it's hard to find a really, really good one. But, Howard certainly could be a special type of player. So we're on to Denver now, and Denver's interesting. They took Paxton Lynch in the first round last year. They obviously, they didn't have a good offense, obviously, but they still have Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and everything like that. They definitely have struggled on offensive line. Could we perhaps see an O-lineman here in the first, in the round, for the first time today?
Good question. Who's the best pick for the Pats in your opinion? So first of all, when is their first pick? 74?
It's in the third round, early third round. They have the Panthers selection from the trade. Coney Ely. They kind of swapped second and third round picks. This is a drop of about 8 picks. So kind of predicting right around there. We talked about it earlier. The tight end Jake Butt might be available right there. I don't think that would be a bad pick. What do they really need? Their most glaring need, quote unquote, might be another linebacker to go with Dante Hightower. You have Kyle Van Noy, you have Landon Roberts, you have Shea McClellan. Next to Dante Hightower right now, you have Jonathan Farini coming back, but they're kind of just guys. Maybe if there's someone around there, if Reuben Foster, because of the issues at the combine and because of the drug issues, falls to the third round, that might be a really great value pick, or a player that the Patriots maybe trade into the first round for. We can see. So Garrett Bowles, there we go. So there's the first offensive lineman.
Damn.
Garrett Bowles from Utah is
Took
the guy
forever.
that goes. And it makes sense. I mean, this wasn't a great draft for
Wasn't
O-linemen.
Frank Lamp the top-rated offensive lineman?
Forrest Lamp.
Forrest
Lamp
Lamp, sorry, I
is
keep saying
considered one of
Frank.
the better ones. So he's kind of moving inside. Cam Robinson
Gotcha.
is another one that a commenter just thought up. Yeah, and that's a great, Lopez. So yeah, the Broncos go Garrett Bowles.
It's a pretty
tackle out
subdued
of Utah.
war room right there.
It's the Broncos, man. They're champions. They're champions. Oh, and there Garrett Bowles brings his baby onto the draft floor with him in one arm cradling. Now Garrett Bowles has a pretty interesting background. He's had some off the field issues. He had some issues as a minor.
Oh, okay.
And everything. I think he's like 24. He's a little bit older. But I think I even talked about Garrett Bowles might have been my mock pick to the Broncos because
Really?
I thought he would fit really well with kind of John Elway and what he's all about and building strong character and character guys.
You did have
Garrett
Garrett
I had
Bowles.
Garrett
Yeah,
Bowles
yeah.
right to the Broncos at 20.
Yeah.
In my mock, and it just made a lot of sense. And they needed some help, and I think they like what Bowles can do. They like his size and everything, and he's wrapped his baby in his Garrett Bowles jersey and is holding him up
His baby has a mohawk.
like he's Simba.
Simba.
So
Yes. There we have it.
Bowles
Dreams are being
Bowles
made.
is a good pick for the Broncos. One of the better available O-linemen. First one available for your biggest need for the Broncos. So that's a solid pick all around. The Lions pick is in right now.
Oh, so nice.
21 overall, and like I said, we're just stacking picks right here and everything. So
Which is good. I had my prediction was T.J. Watt to the Lions. I don't know why I picked that. I wasn't even drunk. Memphis is up early. 3 minutes left in the first half. Memphis is up 40-37 over San Antonio. San Antonio does lead the series 3-2, so it's a must-win for Memphis. And our producer is showing us his cat in the least flattering way. Thank you, Mr.
So we have the
Producer.
Lions on the clock. Now we're in the later half of the draft. We're into the playoff teams.
The last third.
Yeah, we're into the teams that made the playoffs last year. So teams that are in theory on paper a little bit more complete than other teams. And do you think I just want to start off. Do you think we see another trade late here in the first round?
Oh, good question.
The big the big benefit of the first round is the fifth year option you get for players, and that's a big thing for quarterbacks and everything. So do we potentially see some teams moving back here at the end to maybe take a Deshaun Kaiser, a Davis Webb, those type of quarterbacks?
That's
now?
a great question. Let me see, who do we have coming out? We have Miami, we have the Giants, Oakland, Cleveland, Seattle, Buffalo, Dallas, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, New Orleans. I'm going to say no. I don't quite see it. I mean, that's who's up to pick. Obviously, if someone was trading, it wouldn't be those teams. It would be someone trading into those spots. I don't think so. But yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I could be completely wrong here. I just feel like when you get toward the end of the first round, especially in this new format, I feel like maybe people are like winding down, maybe getting ready for day 2. I don't know. I don't know how on top of things teams and scouting departments stay in terms of, let's grab our guy right here. Maybe it makes sense that they should, but
Right.
I don't know. I just get the sense that I don't think that's going to be too much. The picks are coming quickly now, so it seems like most teams are pretty much set with.
We're on 21. We're on the
21.
21st pick of the draft. A couple commenters have brought up Dalvin Cook, the running back, who's kind of dropped for various reasons. This seems like, again, this seems like a solid spot perhaps to take a Dalvin Cook, very talented running back, who has fallen for various reasons. And both Burglar and Lopez have brought up the fact that, the Lions could do with a running back. The Giants could certainly do with a running back. Could we see maybe him go at one of these spots here? That would certainly be interesting. To bring it back to the Giants, obviously, in free agency, the big running backs were obviously Marshawn Lynch, who ended up going to the Raiders, Adrian Peterson, who went to the Saints, and then obviously the Patriots signed restricted free agent Mike Gillislee, which made LeGarrette Blount, seemingly off the table for New England. There have been reports that the Giants were perhaps interested in Blount. If the Lions don't take Cook, and maybe if the Giants take Dalvin Cook, what does that mean for LeGarrette Blount? That's maybe another door that closes for him,
Right.
in terms of another potential destination. So that's interesting, and it's always interesting to think about how the implications the draft has. Now, obviously, the easiest thing to look at is quarterbacks. With especially obviously the big one being Patrick Mahomes to the Chiefs. How does that affect Alex Smith? How does Mitchell Trubisky affect Mike Glennon, and those type of things. But then, you really break it down, and that's what especially in the first round, the draft has a lot of uncertainty for some different guys, and you kind of then get into your second wave of free agency, and everything, and everything. So, as always, for those of you who are commenting, please keep commenting on Twitch, on YouTube, and everything. And you can also, if you're on YouTube, you can just subscribe to us if you like what you see. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram.
I have a question
all
for
that type of stuff. And then also, if you really enjoy the sports stuff, you can subscribe to our podcast, The Lateral. That's available on iTunes.com. You can search The Lateral. And if you like, what we're part of LuZo Productions, we do a lot. We do sports stuff. We do a lot of entertainment and quote unquote nerdy stuff. So, especially if you're on YouTube, check out the rest of our content. We do a lot of stuff. So be sure to check that out and be sure to subscribe. So that would be great.
Yeah, I do have a question actually for our viewers. Which pick have you really liked so far in the first round? Well, obviously we're not done, but of all the picks, all 20 picks that have come in, the first 20 picks, which one?
And your least favorite? Like what pick really made you scratch your head and you thought was a big reach?
Which pick made
so
you throw
far?
a cat out the window to its death?
Why would you throw a cat out? That's rude. We do not condone any animal cruelty.
We can't control what the
on
NFL
that.
makes people do.
No cat throwing.
But we have 2.
No.
You only need 1.
Lopez makes a great point. He said, wouldn't mind a Blunt and Cook combo if he doesn't mind a pay cut. It looks like Blunt's really probably going to have to take a pay cut. The Patriots had made him a contract offer that wasn't to his liking. He obviously wanted to get paid a little bit more money. He actually led the NFL in rushing touchdowns last year with 18. And, the reception and the interest has been very lukewarm on him so far. So, if he's willing to take that role reduction and that pay cut, Blunt's definitely a very good to solid running back. Wow, so the Lions have taken the linebacker Jared Davis, the Florida linebacker. Interesting pick there.
They didn't take T.J. Watt.
You got the position right yet again, though.
Yeah,
linebacker.
Yeah. We're doing well with the position.
He's a smaller. Jared Davis is a smaller linebacker, And even, we're watching the NFL Network coverage. They have the little card, physical traits, tough kid, and today's NFL inside linebacker, which means, smaller, faster guy. who's
Versatile.
almost like a safety, honestly. The linebackers today are almost built like safeties who can tackle really well. So that's it's interesting.
I think that's why the trade physicality.
And the Lions certainly need help defensively. Matthew Stafford, had a pretty good year last year. They were able to get to the playoffs. Solid offense. Could have used a running back, but they certainly need help in the middle of that defense. So, linebacker's good. Interesting. So we have.
Two teams I'm told are trying like crazy to trade up. Now, first of all, the Atlanta Falcons all the way back in the draft. They've been talking to teams all the way up before them. A potential target here, Evan Ingram, the tight end for Ole Miss, someone that they love.
Sorry, just listening to some rumors right now from Ian Rappaport. Falcons allegedly trying to trade up.
For a long, long time, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Ian Rappaport. The Giants are on the clock with 5 minutes to go. They're halfway through that. Let's now go to the podium again. The commissioner has the 22nd overall pick that's been sitting there in the freezer for a few minutes after the Lions made the pick. The Dolphins went ahead and chose, and we're about to hear.
We have the Dolphins pick coming up right now. Interesting, Lopez and Gurgler Burglar disagree. So it looks like Gurgler Burglar, your least favorite pick was the Chicago Bears at number 2 with Mitchell Trubisky, and Lopez seems to like what the Bears did. So interesting. The pick right now is on 22, the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have taken Charles Harris, Taco, getting another pass rusher to kind of go with their defensive front. Deion Jordan obviously didn't work out. They just cut him a few weeks ago, and he ended up with the Seahawks. He hasn't worked out, but interesting pick there. From the Miami Dolphins. Certainly helps their defense. A big way to win in the NFL is to get to the quarterback. So.
He's got real good get off. Here's Wolf. Under the Tennessee left tackle, and Jackson back into the quarterback. Big hit.
So now the Giants are on the clock. I know we have some Giants fans on the message boards here, kind of commenting on our stuff. So what do you want to see the Giants do? I mean, we've got some interesting names still available here. So we'll have to wait and see. Right there. I need to clear my throat.
Looks like this came just in time.
Thanks.
I don't think this is a real flattering shot, huh?
Krishna, just sit down.
Which is why they're bringing the boo here. We'll have that when we come back. It'll be a fun scene. Don't you dare move.
Who do you think the Raiders are going to pick? Asks Shirley.
Oh, so the Raiders, the pick is in for the Giants, and the Raiders are now on the clock, and that's a great question. Just a solid team all around. Michael Crabtree really had a good year with them, with Amari Cooper. I've always thought that they've got a lot of good pieces. Maybe Dalvin Cook would be very interesting to the Raiders here at
Cook, huh?
Late in the first round, a running back that could be a real potential stud just to go with Carr and everything. That's interesting. I need to look at the rest of the I need to reset my board here.
For what? Who's gone?
Exactly. I need to kind of see who's available.
I know, you lose track. I don't know how you do this all 3 days. Some stamina. I just pull up the ESPN one if you want.
For those of you who can't see, I am petting a cat.
Critics weren't wrong when they called us the best morning show on sports television. We're going to
This doesn't.
True, you do have Marshawn Lynch, but you also have to think about future, for the Raiders, and that's part of drafting, right? You got these guys, especially in the first round, you have them 4 or 5 years. Marshawn is definitely a great running back, but he's not going to play more than 1 or 2 years. It really depends, and I think for the Raiders and for a lot of teams at the end, it's really about your draft board and how it's fallen. So maybe running back, probably not. But I just thought maybe Dalvin Cook would be an interesting thought at the very least. Maybe you take a tight end here. Maybe it's an Njoku. Maybe it's an Evan Engram. You could definitely use a little bit of defensive help, especially in the back end a little bit. Obviously, you have Khalil Mack up front. Maybe some linebacker help. Colin McLaughlin, you do have some Giants fans with you in the comments section.
Giants fans. Oh no. I'm just kidding. You guys beat us twice. Actually, funny thing about the Giants. So, when the Giants were in the playoffs this last year, and us too, the Giants were legitimately the team that we did not want to see in the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's so funny, but it's true. We do
fans,
not want to see you guys in the Super Bowl ever again.
Our dad actually wanted to see them in because he just has this joy, I guess, of losing in the Super Bowl.
Wait, our dad wanted to play the Giants in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
No. We're Patriots fans, and we did not want to play the Giants there in the Super Bowl. Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl. I love your optimism.
Hey, they are going to get to the Super Bowl one day and win it.
Will they?
I think so. I think Detroit
franchises have been relocated before they can win.
Hey, I actually like Detroit.
They're
a few pieces away.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, our stream dropped.
The NFL is failing us right now. We have technical difficulties with our... Us.
Oh, so we are back on.
Lewis, those were great Super Bowls.
Yep. So Louis Farrell said those Super Bowls we previously talked about before our break.
He's a Giants fan, and they were.
Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46 were great. Super Bowl 42 will go down as top 5 Super Bowl of all time, just because obviously the Patriots were 18-0 and the Giants were huge underdogs, and a great Super Bowl for them to go all the way in that drive. And I mean, no one will ever forget the helmet catch, just one of the more iconic plays in NFL history. Definitely sickening as a Patriots fan to watch, but I guess historically in the NFL, very fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you all for watching our stream so far and leaving questions and comments. Please keep them coming. As always, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And so the Giants take a tight end. They take Evan Engram.
Is Njoku still on the board?
Njoku is still on the board. There's some debate among who are the top guys, but Engram is a lot of scouts really like Evan Engram. I'm kind of neutral on him. I don't really lean one way or the other.
You talking about Engram?
Engram, right?
We have some good comments here. Those are great Super Bowls, and then unconquerable Detroit. Stafford is the best quarterback.
I wouldn't go that far.
Kyle, I think if the Giants draft well this year, we definitely have a shot at the Super Bowl. Yeah,
I wouldn't say why not.
Absolutely. I mean, it takes. You need some other things to happen as well outside of the rookies coming in.
I think in the NFC it's a little more open. It's more open than it has been in years past. Atlanta is the defending Super Bowl
champs, but
is the defending Super Bowl representatives.
But who knows? Maybe that loss to the Patriots is so crushing.
I'm not sold on them either. I don't think they'll take as big as a regression as Carolina did last year, but I could definitely see that. I think Seattle, who's been one of the top teams, is starting to get a little old in the tooth, a little longer in the tooth, and everything.
Of Lopez comments is disappointed in this pick, but he is glad to see another playmaker for Eli. So, Lopez, who would you have rather have seen there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Would you have rather seen a Dalvin Cook, running
Maybe
back?
something
Would you
on
have
the
rather
defense.
seen a defensive pick? What were you looking for?
Kyle hopes New York Giants pick up a decent running back as they really need one.
LeGarrette Blount again is an option for agency if you don't draft one.
You could do a lot worse than Blunt, and we are Patriots fans. We're biased,
and
but
you can get they're going to be good backs in these early to mid rounds, and
That's
there's
true.
so many running backs in the NFL who are taken late or undrafted.
Yeah.
It's a position that is there's depth pretty much every year. I wouldn't be too concerned if you don't get that home run need here in the first. I'm certainly, personally more with the philosophy of taking the best available. So we've got the Raiders right now on the clock at 24. They've got about 220 left in there. So we're nearing the end. We haven't had any more trades here and everything, so that's
20 down.
interesting. We're at 24.
L.A. Angeles Bulls, Chicago Bulls. So Los Angeles Chicago Bulls says give a shout out to Kendrick. So shout out to Kendrick. I'm not sure who Kendrick is or if which Kendrick, but shout out to Kendrick.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I mean that's the only one you can think of. Are we shout out to Kendrick Lamar? It's like
Henmuller?
all right. Hi, Kendrick.
My college roommate.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds funny.
I mean, Ty Montgomery is a solid tight end, but it's nothing special. I mean, neither maybe is Evan Ingram, but you got guys at every spot.
Giants need some linebackers to cover over the top. Yes.
Lopez says, just wanted to see a running back. I need a Thunder and Lightning combo to get us back to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and that's definitely popular. A big back who can carry the early load, and then a quick gadget type of back you can catch on third down and blitz pickup and all that type of stuff. It's a formula that's worked for a lot of teams. I mean, Atlanta obviously last year, a team that kind of had that combo, and the Patriots have had those type of combos the last few years.
Deion Lewis and Blunt and White.
So
yeah. Even Antoine Smith and Kevin Falk back in the day. Patriots definitely loved the Thunder and Lightning combination. Because he used the big back to soften up the
you're
defense.
right. Kevin Falk is totally Thunder.
Yes, and Antoine Smith was also Thunder. No.
You're right, Gurgler. I made another mistake. I didn't mean Ty Montgomery.
Junior's
I'm a little tired.
Junior's falling asleep.
I am.
Kyle says Giants drafted Evan Ingram because Will Tye isn't a good blocker and we need help on our line. Gregala Barbala, David Tye, decent underrated tight end for the Giants, but also agrees that is not a great blocker, I assume. I don't know. I don't watch enough Giants games to.
You're not a Giants fan, Krishna?
No,
That's shocking to me.
I'm a Patriot.
What?
What?
So the pick is in for the Raiders at 24.
What are you thinking here?
I think
Go gut.
again. I think best available. I really do like a lot of these teams. It's a great question.
Yeah, who is the best available at this point? Don't even know. What would you like? What do you think this team needs to defeat the Patriots?
To defeat the. I don't think it's just defeating the Patriots.
No, not at all. But let's be honest, though. It's considered that
the West. We can't forget that the AFC West was a tough division last year with the Broncos, with the Chiefs, very physical, and everything. So you definitely have to keep up
game plan with the division.
That division.
All right, what would be a piece that would help them the most? Then
I mean, let's break down their roster. Their offensive line was obviously great last year. They're pretty good on offense. They've got the quarterback. They've got Lynch, obviously. They've got some good receivers. Maybe they could do with a tight end. But really, that's it. Maybe a running back long term. But we're getting the pick right now. Wow.
Oh,
so
okay.
they take the risk on Gary and Conley, the corner who is under the investigation. That's that's a guy a lot of people thought would fall maybe entirely out of the draft.
That's a very Raiders pick,
because of that. But I think it's interesting. Jack Del Rio obviously has come in and has been a strong, quote unquote strong influence, on the Raiders and everything. And so
he took a polygraph test tonight for the Raiders.
The Garen Conley, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. It's interesting. So that's interesting. And they just kind of reiterated that Raiders must feel confident that with the situation and what's going on. Obviously, we don't want to speculate one way or the other. We don't have all the information, frankly, to that. But
I do agree with Of Lopez 02 classic Raiders. Yeah, it seems like a very Raiders move under the old regime. Like when, they took some characters and went for, those tangible speed and, what I'm saying.
Our Raiders pick would have been John Ross if he'd been available.
But he wasn't, so they took the next Raiders
Yeah,
pick.
I mean, Conley, very, very measurable guy, a guy that really shot up the draft board. They need some help in the secondary, certainly. And that could be a good pick if Conley is...
Great. Off Lopez. Polygraph is about as reliable as a Browns quarterback. Well played.
It's true. That's very true.
That's great. I love
that's
it.
a good talk. So the Raiders
That's my favorite comment.
Speaking of the Browns, the Browns are back on the clock at 25 right now, and it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. I kind of predicted. My gut tells me they're going to trade this pick, but maybe they take someone. So
wait, your gut says they're trading the pick?
So we've heard some reports that they might be interested in Kirk Cousins. They certainly want a quarterback.
Oh, so you mean trade the pick for a player?
Maybe they're trading it for a player. Maybe they're trading back down, gathering more assets to trade.
I think they make the pick.
Who do you think they take?
I have no idea, but they're making that. I think they take TJ Watt.
I mean, no position is wrong really for the Browns. They certainly need help everywhere.
Gagala Babala. If TJ Watt stays on the board, Packers take him. He's calling it.
So we have you on the record, TJ Watt. I mean,
yeah. It would be interesting.
Cowboys are the best from random.
Cowboys are really good.
They're really good at losing in the postseason.
Well, I mean, a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back.
I know. The Cowboys
the team should be set up for a lot of
The Cowboys
success.
are set.
We'll
are
see,
certainly set.
There's a thing called a sophomore slump. And
sophomore slump. It's interesting with Tony Romo retiring. If Dak struggles, when does obviously you're going to get if Dak struggles, that narrative of should the Cowboys bring back Tony Romo out of retirement and all that type of stuff. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen. And
Off Lopez is making a prediction. He says Reuben Foster is going here, this pick right now.
We love to see the Browns fail. Well,
it's true. It's about as consistent as the sun rising in the East. I have to think about that for a second. Except for that one random Derek Anderson season, and they still didn't make the playoffs.
2007,
right?
they went 10-6.
Oh, and they did make the playoffs.
No, I did not. I don't think.
Oh,
I think they missed it.
Such Browns luck.
They missed the playoffs. Braylon Edwards was second in the league that year with receiving touchdowns behind Randy Moss. Randy Moss had the
one
record
good season
23.
in the last 30 years?
Randy Moss had the record 23, and Braylon Edwards had the 17. And then he went to the Jets, I think, a year or two later.
Braylon Edwards. I forgot about that guy.
Tony Romo needs to pull a Brett
Favre.
I
forgot about until just now?
I wouldn't be shocked because he's going to stink on the CBS broadcast.
Wait, who is?
Tony Romo.
He's going to stink? You think so?
He's taking over for Phil Simms on national TV with no broadcast experience. You tell me how that's going to go.
Maybe it'll be fine,
Hey, Gurgler Bergland, any fans out there, if Tony Romo came out of retirement and didn't play for the Cowboys, who would you want to see him play for?
Texans.
They have Deshaun Watson.
Texans. I think if you put Romo on the Texans, I think Texans could make some serious noise.
Oh, so the pick is in for the Browns. They have not traded. They are taking someone here.
Sean Watson, when the Chiefs had traded up 2 picks before.
Pew pew. We're running out of time for some teams to trade back in that haven't.
It's
Vikings,
it's not happening.
the Rams, the Patriots.
Oh yeah, Plexico Burris. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh man,
Sexy
Plexico. Plexico was great. Remember when the Steelers had Greg Maddux and then Plexico, Hines Ward, and Antoine Randall L. Antoine Randall L was like that gadget guy. He could
do
throw
remember
touchdowns as a receiver. It was great. That offense was so much fun to play in Madden 2004, where I think Michael Vick was on the cover as a Falcons quarterback. I might add. I think that's the one. I used to play as the Steelers. I'm a Patriots fan, but I used to play as the Steelers because that offense was so much fun. The one good year Greg Maddux had. And then all three of those guys, I think Plexico, Hines Ward, and Antoine Randall L. all went over 1,000 yards. 3 receivers on the same team, over 1,000 yards. Great offense. And I think they still had the bus. This might have been before your time.
What? I'm so out of it right now. I'm wiped.
Oh, there we go. So
We got some responses to this question.
yes.
Was it Born to Love? Said it would have to be Houston or Denver.
If Romo was to come out,
If Romo comes out of retirement. Now,
Retirement,
obviously, those were the two
and
teams most connected.
he's a Cowboys fan too.
Nah, the Rams, dude.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Rams have to give Jared Goff a fair shake. It would be really bad if, after just a few starts in his rookie year, they pulled the plug. I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't because I'm not really sold on
LA, though,
Jared
would be
Goff.
interesting.
Tony
Just in
Romo
terms of
would
like
be.
an image
Yeah.
and marketing type of thing, that is interesting.
But that would be insane if the Rams did that. Oh, we got a
God.
Twitch comment. Here we go.
I suck calf muscles off, and the question is how them legs doing.
5 out of 10.
Whose legs? My legs are fine, I guess. I'm wearing these really comfortable pajama pants.
All right, the Brown selection is coming in. Roger Goodell is coming to the podium.
With the 25th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Jabril Peppers.
Oh,
Wow, so Peppers is gone. There we go. Jabril Peppers
That's
going
like a
to the
safety.
Browns. So they did kind of take a, Jabril was one of those guys that was rising, and then the report came out, obviously, of the diluted combine sample, and people thought he would maybe drop end of the first, maybe early second, and so
it kind of is the end of the
So
first.
it's kind of the end of the first here, and so the Browns take their safe selection, quote unquote, with Miles, and they take a risk with Jabril Peppers, so they go defense. And this Jabril Peppers is obviously was one of the hottest names with the draft in terms of people were really excited for him, thought he could be just a superb athlete. People were wondering, is he a linebacker, is he a safety, what is he exactly? A lot of people just see him as an athlete, a defensive, just a piece, right? He's like a linebacker safety combo,
So he's
wombo
versatile,
combo.
right?
He's definitely got some versatility. He's also been a kick and a punt returner. So
I kind of like the move. Get some athleticism on that defense.
and he's certainly
need
going to
do
get
it,
playing
so-
time with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because
Come in, take your lumps
they're kind
early,
of
learn,
bereft of
and-
talent, and
Yeah.
I mean it works on two folds. He could be a good football player, and obviously it brings some excitement
So
to Cleveland. I mean Cleveland needs some excitement after.
and so
a lot
they
of struggles.
took Myles Garrett, and now they've taken Jabril Peppers. Those are two.
Those could be two
playmakers on your
two
defense.
cornerstones
That's interesting.
of your thing. So we only have 7 picks now left in the first round.
I kind of
Seattle's
like
on the clock, yeah, and Jabril. Jabril was as a Patriots fan, knowing we only had the 3rd round pick, was a guy I looked at as like maybe he's available in the 2nd or 3rd round earlier in the draft process. Now, obviously, as it went through with all the workouts and everything, he rose up, and you knew it wasn't going to happen. I mean, he even had playing time on offense, right? He did some wildcat stuff and went out wide sometimes and everything like that.
A couple comments of Lopez 02. Bold prediction: Alex Smith goes down for the Chiefs, and Romo comes in and leads them to a Super Bowl. That would be fairy tale-esque.
That'd
I
be
feel.
quite the prediction. That is.
I mean, if you call that, you should
Good-
probably
good
put
on
money
you.
down because you'd make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Gregala
Definitely.
Babala, Tony Romo is more a blue chip type player, but Gregala Babala praises the Browns, says, well done, Browns. Kyle says, I feel bad for anyone who gets drafted to the Browns because the players that do get drafted to them get mad from losing so much and end up being traded for someone stupid or they quit like Johnny. Yeah, so that's interesting. The Browns, it definitely feels like they have a team culture of losing, and when you have a whole team that gets sucked into it, you can start off optimistically, but like year after year after year of losing. The Bengals were in that rut for a long time. You could get talented players, and then they just couldn't get out of it until Marvin Lewis took over and kind of turned it around. So
Yeah, now they
that's
just make the
interesting.
playoffs and they can't win a game.
Right. Now they're, they're progressing nicely, 20 years of no playoffs, now 20 years of one and done, or can't win a playoff game.
Can't coach them.
They are the most consistent team
Can't
in the
play
NFL.
with them. Can't do it.
Of Lopez then says, oh my God, Browns are actually making business decisions. Heard they're going to start him at quarterback if all else fails.
Burglar Burglar has some choice words for the Browns because they he sees Peppers and Myles Garrett as potential busts, and then the Pats linebacker being Jamie Collins, who quote unquote maybe take some plays off here and there, and everything. They signed him to the big 4-year, I think $50 million trade, and we have a trade.
We have a trade? There's a trade?
The Atlanta Falcons have traded up from 31 to 26 with the Seahawks. Now,
Defense.
Ian
It's gotta be
Rappaport had mentioned earlier that the Falcons were looking to trade up to maybe take Evan Ingram. He's been taken. Maybe they take a different tight end here. Njoku would be interesting.
You don't think they should go defense here?
I think they should go defense. I mean, they're offensively,
the offense
they
is
had the best
amazing.
offense in the league last year.
Why are they going more offense?
I mean, they could. Make it
why
even
not?
better.
Make it a video
They
game.
have some nice young pieces, obviously, on defense, but they could certainly use some help in that back end and that linebacker. I mean, really on all three levels. I wouldn't say you're really set at any position there. They need some more talent there.
Everywhere on that
on
team.
defense.
Yeah. They're kind of like the Cleveland Cavaliers. A lot of offense.
We can
not much
definitively
defense.
say it's not a long snapper.
Is that actually a designated position, or is it just a linebacker who gets?
Well,
or lineman?
It depends. Yeah, there's a lot of different. Some teams do designate it just a spot. Like I know the Patriots have designated long. Designated long snappers. Other teams don't. So.
Kyle says it's going to be an interesting year of football. We agree. Michael Hager says if Taco Charlton is on the board, the Saints will take him. And Gregala Babala says, true.
Excuse me. Both the cats have fallen asleep. For those of you who are interested in what's happening to the cats, one is sitting next to me off camera. The other is further down my feet, also asleep. Thank you all for tuning in and leaving comments and stuff. Please keep leaving comments. And thank you for watching here. If somebody took Chris McKinley, defensive end.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean,
so defense, there you go.
That's certainly
Just
what the
makes
Falcons
sense.
need.
Yep.
And Tack is another athletic freak. And that's certainly what the Falcons and Dimitrov is doing with that defense.
Is he wearing a cowboy hat?
He's wearing that's a relative. They're bringing in a lot of athletes, a lot of fast, young, athletic guys. And that was what their team was. They weren't huge. They weren't physical on defense, but they were just more athletic. And you saw it in the Super Bowl 51 in that first half. They absolutely manhandled the Patriots offense because they were just faster. They were faster and they were more athletic. And then unfortunately they got gassed.
Yeah.
Their offense couldn't stay on the field, and then they got the pick six, which was nice. But then the Patriots had 20 plus straight plays, and I mean, if you look at the final play tally in that game, it's almost double. So they unfortunately got gassed, but I don't think the philosophy is incorrect in terms of building young athletes, because that's, bringing in athletic guys for your defense. It certainly helped in that big situation.
Off Lopez 02 says he's definitely picking up the Falcons as a sleeper defense for fantasy.
Yeah, I would totally say
Interesting.
so. They definitely put up some good numbers for you fantasy fans out there. They get some picks, they get some sacks. The yardage isn't always going to be there. They're going to give up yards, but
turnover heavy.
But they're going to be
Okay.
they're going to be turnover heavy. They're going to be stat heavy, quote unquote.
Nice. Gregala Brawler, running back for the Packers.
I mean, it would make a lot of sense there. They lost Eddie Lacy. That could certainly help. But that defense certainly needs help. I think you had said Burglar. Was it? I think it was you that said T.J. Watt, and T.J. Watt's still available. So we'll have to.
I think somebody on here said T.J. Watt for the Packers too, right?
I think that was Burglar.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't remember. Kyle saying if Giants draft
Couple
linebackers,
linebackers.
they're set. We've been asked, since you guys are Patriots fans, do you think Cooks is better value than would have been there at 32? Yeah, I think certainly in the immediate, I think Cooks is definitely, especially this year, and if they pick up his fifth-year option, is going to contribute more than a rookie would have. Now, in the long term, we're not sure.
Sorry, we are distracted by this impassioned speech by. I guess he's ready to throw on the pads right now. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Which draft number was that? Is it 25?
That was 26. We're on 27 now. The Falcons took a defensive end, Takaris McKinley, Enrique Martinez.
The Falcons, they picked at 26. They were at 32 and they traded up. Enrique asked what position did the Falcons pick.
Wait, did that just come through?
That did. It's a live broadcast.
And he said, find me later. Let me ask you this. Are the Falcons regretting this pick? Already.
Well, if it translates to the field, no.
No,
If it doesn't,
that's true.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for those of you who are watching us and maybe not NFL Network, interesting.
It is must-watch TV. I'd say I cannot look away. But there's a lot of boos.
Roger?
No, to the player.
Why?
Because, I mean, a lot of people want players on their teams to, just sort of go out there and play and not say a whole lot. So, like Rich Eisen just said, very emotional moment.
Buffalo is on
Interesting.
the clock right now. They have their their pick is in. Now, they were at number 10, and they traded 17 spots down when Kansas City picked.
Wait, I'm sorry, back up. What did he say that was so...
He dropped an F-bomb.
Oh, he just said the F word, really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually didn't hear the whole speech.
Yeah, we were in and out of talking over it. But interesting. We'll see.
Michael Hager asks, do you think the Saints made a good choice giving up Cooks for the 32nd pick and picking up Ted Ginn? I think the value's there, especially if, for the Saints, from the Saints' perspective, Drew Brees, I mean, pretty consistently, I think he has like 4,000 or 5,000 yard seasons, has put up the offensive numbers, has continued having the Saints at a top pace with multiple different sets of weapons and wide receivers and tight ends and running backs. If you knew you weren't going to pick up Cooks, if he wasn't on your long range, your long term plans, he kind of fallen down a little bit after you had drafted the wide receivers last year and you had some other guys there. It made sense, and you got another first round pick. That's good value. I don't think Ted Ginn certainly does not replace Brandon Cooks in any way, shape, or form, but I think Ginn, with some other offensive progress and changes, can make up for that absence. So I think it was good. I think getting a first round pick for a player is good value, and especially in a good draft here. Now, it's tough to judge it depending on how it goes. Now, if the Patriots win 2 Super Bowls with Brandon Cooks and the Saints do anything, and Brandon Cooks is a big part. Now, obviously, you regret that trade. Now, if the Patriots don't do anything and the Saints get a good player at 32 and they all of a sudden do some stuff, it's looked at differently. So.
Got a couple comments. Leslie asked, who did the Rams pick?
The Rams don't actually have a first round pick, so they have picked no one as of right now.
Unless they trade up, they'll be picking on day 2. I believe they have second.
Exactly.
Second and
The
third.
Packers have not picked. The Cowboys, I'm sorry, have not picked yet. Their pick is upcoming.
Soon.
Gurgler Burglar couldn't have said it better. Yeah, I mean, Ted Ginn is. I mean, he's not a great offensive player by any means. He's solid. He's probably at the very best a wide receiver number 3.
At best?
On a good offense.
Okay. About to say, I was like.
He could be a wide receiver number 2 on a bad offense.
Or an average one?
Or
I feel like it would be an average.
He was good with the Panthers in 2015. Now he did have Cam Newton throwing to him. They had some other weapons with their running game, and Greg Olsen and Cam Newton obviously running as well. So we shall see. Cowboys have not gone yet. The Bills pick is in, and the Cowboys are on the clock unless it's been stacked. So we shall see.
Wait. Did Cleveland just trade?
Interesting. So it looks like the Bills are picking at 27, and the
Cowboys.
Browns have traded up with the Cowboys. Okay, no, sorry. So they were wrong. The Cowboys are still on the clock at 28, and the Browns have traded to 29 for where the Packers were.
Oh.
And I've got to think it's a quarterback here.
Gurgler Babala, your Packers just traded with Cleveland. Gave up that pick, so yeah, Cleveland moved up, and you're thinking which one? Kaiser?
I think it's a quarterback. It's got to be one of the quarterbacks to get that 5th-year option.
Oh shit!
I think it's Davis Webb. I honestly do.
Davis Webb, the Webb man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. So I think we have a little glut of picks right now.
Yeah, and there's a movement, a flurry of activity all of a sudden.
I would love another milkshake.
A McFlurry?
Oh, I haven't had one of those in years.
Do you like McFlurries?
McFlurries are good. They're delicious though. Like everything at McDonald's. Hey, I want you fans to know. If you like a McFlurry, let me know. And if you don't, why not?
Well, what
I
flavor?
do like Frosties.
We want to know what flavor of
but
McFlurry.
I haven't eaten those.
Chocolate.
I don't even know what flavors they have anymore. It's legitimately been years since I had a McFlurry. Yeah, that's crazy. Keep leaving these comments. This is
Ted Thompson used to be fired now.
Oh boy, he's not going to be fired.
Who's Ted Thompson?
Ted Thompson's the
GM for the Packers.
Yeah.
But it depends on if they move back
Here
down
we go.
and got
we're going to get the Bills
they got like
pick
3
right
picks
here.
for it. It might not be a bad
This will be
thing.
interesting to see who they take.
Oh, Tre'Davious.
Tre'Davious White, one of the
Lamar
back from LSU.
Quattro.
Solid pick. 5 out of 10.
5? Really?
No, not 5.
Tre'Davious is pretty good.
No, he's solid.
See?
He's
the most solid cornerback in the draft, is what I just heard.
He's a solid guy. A need for Buffalo for sure, and I think Buffalo just stuck to their board and took the best available. Went best available for what they needed, they wanted at 27.
Cody responded to our very important question of favorite McFlurry flavor.
Oreo.
He said Oreo.
Nice.
Raymond said
Oreo.
Love them Oreos. Pablo said Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. They did blow a 3-1 lead. That is true.
You're not wrong.
Gagala
certainly not wrong.
LSU. Oh, I assume
He's
you're talking about the player.
Tre'Davious White from
It's
LSU.
like, LSU, is that a flavor of McFlurry I've never heard
that's
of?
That's not a McFlurry flavor.
Dory Jackson has been drafted, but I forget who drafted him.
That was a long time ago.
Was he a corn?
Yes.
Hang on, I'm gonna try and look that up to you. Okay, thank you, of Lopez. He went to the Titans at 18.
The Titans took Corey Davis at 5. The wide receiver. So We have Dallas on the clock, I assume, and then Cleveland next, then Pittsburgh, Seattle, and New Orleans to close it out.
Ooh, Michael has a good question. Taco Charlton or Reuben Foster a better fit for the Saints at 32?
If I were the Saints, I probably. That's tough. I mean, it depends on how you view Reuben Foster. If you're not as questionable on some of the off-field issues that have happened, I think Reuben makes a lot of sense there at 32. And it's definitely a need for the Saints on defense. But I think Taco's probably the safer pick. Reuben's probably got the higher ceiling, though.
There you go. All right, so who's up next?
The
Bills?
Cowboys are up next, and then Cleveland,
Oh.
Pittsburgh, Seattle, and the Saints. The Cowboys pick is in.
They're taking so long with these picks.
We have a little clog right now, a little log jam.
We have 4 more picks, people, of the first draft.
Wait, where's Jerry? Where's Jerry Jones? He's not there. That's the Cowboys.
The Cowboys brain trust.
Brain trust, but there's no Jerry Jones. No Jerry Jones. I want to repeat, no Jerry Jones.
Correct.
Jerry just loves him.
Sarah's comment immediately following my comment does not make sense. I said there's a lot of white people, and you said thank goodness.
she was responding. We have fun here, guys. How do you feel about Foster to Pittsburgh?
Again, I think if Pittsburgh's okay with some of that off-field stuff, and Pittsburgh, they have obviously the long-running ownership in the Rooneys and everything. Now, with the whole Antonio Brown Facebook Live thing that happened in the locker room last year, some people wondered, do they have as much control in the locker room as was previously imagined? Now, would it be dangerous maybe to bring in a Reuben Foster if you have some, questions? Is it as strong of a leadership as you think it is? Especially on defense, you've lost, Troy Polamalu. You still have James Harrison, obviously, who's kind of taking on that leadership mantle for the Steelers. But it's certainly, from just if we're just going strictly football and we're not looking at the off-field stuff now, of course we have to take in that stuff into account. But if the Steelers are fine with it, Foster's a great talent to kind of continue that Steelers tradition of strong defensive players. And they have some nice young pieces that could certainly add.
Oh, we got the Cowboy selections in right now. Be curious to see what they do.
Here we go, Cowboys. Taco Charlton at 28.
Interesting.
So we're seeing the.
Wait, his name's Taco?
Yes.
Yes.
Is he related to Taco from
The league?
We've got.
Is he related to Nacho?
Taco.
No, Nacho's the cousin.
Yes.
Nacho's the other cousin, yeah. Yes, he is.
Yes. No.
So we have Taco, Nacho, and
Oh, I see Jerry now. I do see Jerry in the room. He is awake. Can confirm that.
Gagala, they haven't told us what the details of the trade is yet, so we don't know what the Packers got for that trade with. Wait, where did Cleveland go? I'm so confused. According to ESPN, Cleveland is picking at 29.
Yeah, it's just a mix-up on the graphic right now on that NFL
So,
network.
yeah, Gagala, we don't know yet. We assume we're going to find out shortly.
We will find out one day.
Jerry Jones isn't there because he's busy with the young interns, and it's past his bedtime.
Oh boy.
So that's where he is. Taco's gone. How do you think of what the Browns are doing? They are all over the place. I love their first 2 picks. I like the idea of going defense heavy for them.
We will.
We gotta see what they do with this next.
I think it's quarterback here. I mean, that's the reason
they need
Cleveland.
it. So
that's the reason Cleveland, trades back in the first round to get that 5th-year option, especially because they had the first pick in the second round, so they traded up about 4 spots. It's to get that 5th-year option, and quarterback seems to make the most sense. Now, 3 quarterbacks are gone in Deshaun Watson, in Patrick Mahomes, in Mitchell Trubisky. So, Deshaun Kaiser, Davis Webb, those are the guys that are still left. Could it be Kaiser? Could it be Davis Webb? I think my gut tells me it's Davis Webb, but we'll see. Michael Hager, you are absolutely right. The NFL is lacking. Shame on you.
Shame on you, NFL.
No, shame on you.
$1 billion corporation, and you have to have these commercials still.
We only have 4 picks left, everyone. So again, thank you all for commenting and continue to comment as we have these last few picks in. And if you like what you see, we do have our own podcast, The Lateral. You can find us on iTunes, The Lateral. And we are part of LuZo Productions. We do some sports stuff, and we do much more than that. You can check us out on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at LuZo Productions. And if you like what you're seeing on YouTube, you can subscribe. You can follow us, on Facebook, on Twitch. So yeah, give us a follow, give us a subscription, give us a comment, give us a rating, or don't, but you could.
Or don't. I love these comments.
These comments are great. I mean, you gotta love the internet.
Please keep them coming.
So the Browns pick is in. I think someone said Pittsburgh's pick is in. It's just lagging right now, and eventually we'll get into it. What? No, I don't think we have the capabilities
the
of
next,
doing
the
the
next
entire
2
draft.
days would be like 8+ hours.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And-
Friday.
and
it's
hell
the
no,
second,
I'm not doing
It's
it.
the second and third draft. If you do pay us for our work days, we do have full-time
You
jobs.
can't pay me enough.
But if you are interested in our thoughts on the other 6 rounds, you can listen to our podcast, The Lateral, on iTunes. We will have we'll probably do a full draft reaction next week about that. And then also, if you're interested in other sports more than football, we talk a lot about basketball, so we'll be talking about some NBA playoffs. We talk a little bit of baseball, a little bit of hockey. So we're not just
Quidditch.
we do not talk about Quidditch.
Oh.
It's not on our list yet. So
We couldn't take ourselves seriously if we started talking about Quidditch. Ravi, you liked it. You didn't fall asleep once. We just want everyone to know, we want the world to know that our producer, Mr. Producer, loves Fantastic Beasts. And he has not denied it. Who do you think Seattle will take? That's actually a good question.
Who will Seattle take?
I'm trying to think right now who's left on the board. Reuben Foster might be would honestly be an interesting pick to Seattle.
To Seattle?
Interesting. To Seattle, getting some linebacker help. Again, maybe if they are moving on from Richard Sherman, maybe they look at corner. We've had to run at corners, though, so the talent isn't necessarily as high right now. But we have the 29th pick coming in for the Browns, and they are taking...
Oh.
Whoa.
Wait,
So,
they traded up to get
Njoku? That's very interesting.
All right, now I'm confused. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, so clearly, I mean, they wanted him at the beginning of that second round, but one of these next 3 teams were looking to take him. And I'm going to guess it was probably the Saints. Right there at 32. Was probably looking at Njoku. Maybe Pittsburgh as well looking at Njoku. So they just felt like this is a guy they wanted. They moved up to go get him. That's interesting. But they've added some talent. They've added some talent to some good positions. At the D end with Miles, Jabril Peppers, and now Njoku. They've gotten a lot of the quote unquote sexy names from the
OT,
combine and
Cavalier,
everything.
25 Vast. Who's that?
David Njoku is a tight end.
Extremely athletic.
From the
like
U,
Uber.
from University of Miami.
Yeah.
Very athletic.
Could play
good
wide
guy.
receiver easily.
I actually had the chance to meet him a couple months ago when he came in for an interview at my previous job. And nice guy, really nice. He said he would be happy to go anywhere. And he's going to Cleveland, and he's about to be a big part of their offense. And that's the thing, like these guys for the Browns, they're day one starters. There's not a lot there otherwise. So I think the Browns still have Gary Barnidge. You know, Gary Barnidge obviously was good a few years ago.
Mike Malia is predicting T.J. Watt is going to the Steelers right now at pick 30. Unfortunately, Gagala, they didn't show us what the trade details was. At least I didn't see it.
No, they haven't shown it yet.
They haven't shown it. We assume it's going to come up soon, but we'll see. No problem.
Gary Barnidge is still solid. Barnidge in 2015 obviously had a good year last year. A little bit off, 55 catches, 612 yards, to only 2 touchdowns. So that's nice. Let me see if I can find the details on Twitter.
Take a picture of the Rocky statue, put it out there, and motivate all your rookies. Are you off tomorrow?
I am.
Now the whole world knows.
You have a lot of work to do with your audio.
With the what?
4 hours long.
Well, we're not going to publish this as a pod. It's too long.
Yeah.
You should do like a 30-minute recap.
We can probably do that just the next Lateral episode. We're
Because
going to do a full recap
we're gonna review
anyway,
the whole
so,
thing.
Yeah. Because there's no point in reviewing round 1 and then having to do day 2 and then day 3.
three.
That's just too much.
Possibility for that because Pittsburgh values their defense. I know that they added their 3-4. They really like those edge rushers a lot. Who's going to play inside? They help set a tone for a defense. Don't forget that secondary still needs work. The guys talked earlier about Kevin King from the University of Washington still being out there. Quincy Wilson from
Don't encourage it. All right.
Oh, wait, you guys don't make
I have an email. I'm going to guess Star Fox.
No, there was an employee that we had to fire, and then he started texting people, and everyone was making fun of me, and I said in such a way that, do not engage, like I said, the points were intense.
Nice.
The end of the world.
Nice. Today we celebrate our Independence Day.
So it looks like San Francisco has traded with Seattle at 31.
Jeez, what? I predicted no trades, now there's been 3.
Adam Schefter is reporting that San Francisco traded a 2nd and 4th rounder.
To get back. Wait.
We're on 30, and that pick is in. So San Francisco traded up to 31. They gave up a 2nd and 4th rounder.
Oh, God.
And Adam Schefter is reporting that the 49ers traded up and to take a player that the 49ers were considering at numbers 2 and 3. So someone that's fallen. The Steelers selection is about to come in.
Mike Molly is predicting T.J. Watt at this pick. We shall see.
For Pittsburgh, that's correct.
For Pittsburgh, yes.
He was a great leader for the Pittsburgh community and a tireless advocate for the Steelers. But more than that, he was one of the best men I've ever known.
Wow.
To pay tribute to him tonight,
I have no idea. Probably.
who needed him dearly. Franco Harris and Jerome Bettis.
All right. They can be real slow. Reach the beast.
2DS XL. Oh, it's their Game Boy thing. 3DS.
Got a little bit of a memorial thing going on right now, so gotta wait. I wonder if Mike Malia has some inside information. Seems really on this TJ Watt to the Steel City thing. What do you know, Mike? What do you know? Who's your insider? Tell us your source.
Twitter.
Hey, you said people brick stuff to Twitter a lot quickly. Oh my God, NFL.
And he was good to the city of Pittsburgh. He turned.
many lives. And to NFL, he had a major impact. And with that impact,
Holy shit.
he made a difference
What?
and touched a lot of lives also.
Hmm?
So Dan, Rudy,
Oh.
he will be missed, but his spirit will live on.
He's in the draft room. Nice. Pew.
Mr. Rudy he was a great
Still waiting. Mike's in the draft room.
That'd be pretty incredible if someone from the draft room was actually just watching this
Like
random,
watching the YouTube
this random
broadcast.
YouTube stream of two random guys watching the NFL Network coverage
In
of a
pajama
draft.
pants.
That'd be pretty funny. That
Mike,
would be pretty funny.
We are honored that you are watching this from the draft room and not the draft.
I gotta love it.
thank him because
Oh.
it was about what we did for his organization more than what he did.
What's happening with the? You haven't given us an NBA update while we're waiting for the Steelers pick.
End of the third,
Officially.
and I think it's either tied or it's like a 1-point game between Memphis and San Antonio. So neck and neck game. It's been pretty neck and neck series.
What's the series? At?
San Antonio's winning 3-2, so it's a must win for Memphis.
There it is, officially. T.J. Watt. to
Oh,
the
it's T.J.
Pittsburgh
Watt.
Steelers.
Mike, you knew something.
There it is.
Mike, you knew something. How did you know, Mike?
Makes again a need for the Steelers. They need some linebacker help. If
He's going to be the third Watt brother in the league, right? I think there's another Watt
there
brother?
was J.J. Watt. There might have been another one. I don't know if that he's still in the league. All-knowing Sage. Bow
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
We must bow down to Mike Malia.
Mike knows something.
Yep. There it is. Yeah, you're right. Third brother, Derek Watt, is a fullback.
Derek Watt, yeah. Oh, fullback. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Good job, Mike. You should probably go to Vegas sometime. You might win something.
He was in the room. He made the call.
Wait, Mike is the GM of the Steelers? No.
No, he's not the GM. He's Mike Tomlin. Mike Malia is Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man.
Niners pick is in.
We will unleash hell. Foster Saints, hands down. We have another bold prediction that the last pick in the first round by the Saints will be Mr. Foster. Yeah, Derek Watt is a fullback for the Colts. Is that
For
what
the Chargers. I think he's out of the
Chargers.
league. He was drafted by the Chargers. We're at 2, and that 31st pick is in. So we're nearing the end here.
And we're getting quite near the end now.
So the 49ers have traded to 31 to take a player, but they said they're considering it 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's
Is it Reuben Foster? Do we see him taken? The 49ers
Interesting.
again could do with some talent. They got Solomon Thomas at 3. Get Reuben Foster at 31.
Who's up right now?
The 49ers, because they traded up.
of Lopez, and I just got Dobbs. Are these
Niners
guys?
get Dobbs.
How do these guys know this?
I think he's guessing. Maybe they know. Maybe they're all in the rooms.
Niners taking Webb,
Davis Webb, quarterback.
the quarter.
That could be
Back.
a thing.
Oh, Sean Kelly. What 5 teams have improved the most?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Browns.
You
Just from the
definitely
sheer number of first-round
have to-
picks I just
you
added.
certainly have to go with the Browns. The Titans had 2 picks, and I think they've added some good talent there.
Good, you would say. So Titans. Let's take a look. Actually, I've got the thing up here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Trubisky went to the Bears. Thomas there. Fournette. Corey Davis.
I think the 49ers have had a solid draft. I think Solomon Thomas is a nice piece. They've gotten some picks. Now they've traded away to come back into the first round, and kind of depending on who they get here, I think they've certainly improved their stock. It's improved what they can do.
Oh, so the Seahawks are the ones who traded.
Yes, the Seahawks traded.
So,
at 31.
Reese the Beast, Flappy Boy, the Seahawks actually traded with the Browns, so they will not, unless they trade back into one of the last 2 picks, which is highly unlikely, they will not be picking today. Well, they traded down. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on if you're a Seahawks fan, I guess.
Very true. Very, very true. Can I scroll through this real quick?
Oh, yes.
Oops,
sorry.
I'm just trying to think of which other ones I liked.
The Redskins, just by way of adding Jonathan Allen, might have improved
I like what the
most.
Saints did with Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, they got one of the better cornerbacks,
if not
the best.
Yeah.
At the highest, need that they needed, and they have another pick coming up here. I think just by sheer arithmetic, the guys who have multiple picks, the teams that have multiple picks, definitely helps.
Whose is this? Great shot. I'm a pleaser, and I want that right. I didn't know that.
And Jabril Peppers at number 25 to Cleveland. I take my hat off to both parties.
Lopez predicts Niners are going offensive line.
Interesting.
Forrest Lamp.
Here we go.
17 NFL draft. The San Francisco 49ers select Reuben Foster.
There it is.
Oh,
The slide is
wow.
over. Reuben Foster has been taken by the San Francisco 49ers, so he didn't even make it out of the first round. So
Yeah,
the Niners,
he's inside the
Niners,
first round,
go for him, and that makes a lot of sense. That would be a guy you would, at least before what happened at the combine, if you're going off pure football, was a guy
Top five talent?
that people were considering.
Or
and
top 10.
And obviously John Lynch must feel confident about that, but that's quite the coup. If you feel like Reuben, Reuben doesn't have some of the issues that have kind of been out there and whatnot, then he could be good. And Mike Mack was saying it right now on NFL Network. Day one starter for sure.
And then compare him to Luke Kuechly.
Which is great. I mean, Kuechly
is awesome.
is one of the best linebackers, if not the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
That's quite the comparison.
But I mean that's quite the draft so far for John Lynch. You picked, it was a coup trading down one pick from 2 to 3. You got really good value there, and then you come back and you get Reuben Foster. That's an interesting draft for sure.
Yeah. Did the Seahawks actually get a player from the Packers? The Seahawks are the ones who traded with Cleveland, right?
So there's a few moves. Atlanta was at 31, and then they traded up, and then I think Seattle moved again. I think Seattle traded down twice and out.
Yeah. So we're not actually sure about all the if there are any players that moved, because we actually don't know the details of any of those trades because they haven't put them up. Thank you, NFL Network. Not.
Seattle's pick. I'm sorry, not Seattle. The Saints pick is in.
The last pick of the draft is in.
I don't think any players were involved in these trades. I think it was just draft
trading
picks.
down. Brad Kaya. When do you think he will get drafted?
I think Kyer probably gets drafted in the 3rd, 4th round.
Who is Brad?
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Oh, he's a quarterback. Okay. Who is Brad? That is the question of the draft.
Who might be the big moves in the 2nd round for
Great
Sean
question.
Kelly? That is a great question.
The big moves? I'm going to say no.
No, go for it.
I was going to say the Patriots trade up into the 2nd round tomorrow.
I think we could see that. I think you could see.
I think just because it's the Patriots, that would automatically be a big move.
I think we'll see another run at quarterback with the 2nd tier here with Webb and Deshaun Kaiser and stuff. Maybe that happens early in the 2nd round. Maybe it doesn't. You've changed some of the order here. Green Bay's that's the 1st pick, and Seattle's the 2nd pick in the 2nd round just by moving back a little bit. So maybe they're open for business, especially because it opens the next day. So these teams can kind of listen in on what's going on. But we're going to get the Saints selection right here.
Bring the 32nd pick in the 2017 NFL draft.
You said 32nd?
This is the 32nd pick.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
So they did take it all up. They took the tackle, Ryan Ramczyk.
Oh, there you go.
The Saints.
Interesting.
And that's a good pick. They needed some offensive line help. Ramczyk's considered one of the better tackles in the draft. Solid. So.
Oh, King Charles, yes. There are 2 rounds tomorrow, the 2nd and the 3rd round.
Rounds 2 and 3 are tomorrow.
And then the rest of the rounds will be the day after.
And a lot of evaluators have talked about how it's different. Instead of having the draft in 2 days, having it in 3 days, it allows teams to reset their boards between now and tomorrow night. And then over the last few years, you've seen more trades at the top of the 2nd round because you reset, you make some calls, You go get the guys that maybe you didn't get in the first round that fell out, and all that type of stuff. And we're certainly going to see, I think, some of that tomorrow because I wouldn't say there weren't any outrageous first rounders where you're like, oh my God, this guy went in the first round. Certainly some guys we thought might fall out of the first round. Reuben Foster, Garen Conley, that did go in the first round. Or you even, just to see them go. So I don't think there were any true shockers where it's like, where did this guy come from all the way?
Right.
And I think that talks about the depth of this draft. It's been a good draft, and there are going to be some good players to be had tomorrow. So,
a couple more comments. The Falcons, they took Tackhurst McKinley, the defensive end from UCLA. And that was at the 26th pick. Lopez, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all of your comments. We're glad that we could make your work night go by faster. That's it. What's your initial impressions of this first round? And we're gonna have on our podcast next week the Lateral, which you can check out through iTunes and through LuZoProductions.com. We're gonna have a much more in-depth recap of the entire draft. But Arjuna, what's your impressions of the first round?
Well, I think it started with the trades. Obviously, the first two trades, being for the quarterbacks. We saw, or three, I should say, right? Because the Texans took Deshaun Watson in another trade. So that was obviously the big part of the early part of the draft. But I would say, other than that, players kind of went where we saw them go. We saw, we heard about Jonathan Allen and his shoulder issues, and then we saw, the guys we thought maybe might come out of the first round, Garen Conley, Reuben Foster, kind of stay there. And everything. So it's interesting to see. I felt like teams took more risks this year
absolutely.
On guys with red flags, medical issues. With guys and then some guys with the character issues and whatnot. But like I just said, I don't think there were any true shocking names that were called in this first round where it's just like, whoa, I didn't expect this guy to go. So everything was pretty standard. A lot of trades at the beginning and a lot of trades near the end of the first round. So that was interesting, and it was good value too. It wasn't a weak year to trade because people value this draft a little bit more than some other drafts and its depth. So picks are a little bit more valuable, which means you have to give up more to move around.
Yeah, a couple questions right here. Sean Kelly, great questions, by the way. What path? So basically, who did better here? The Lions drafting the linebacker, Jared Davis, or the Packers trading back? Which team benefited more from those respective choices?
Well, you look at some of the players that are gone. I need to see the exact details of that trade and kind of what Green Bay got. They do have a pick early tomorrow. I think they have the first pick to lead off tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check that again. But they certainly missed on some players that could have helped them. They could have done with some linebacker help. They could have done with, no running backs. I don't think we're taking in that lower 20. So maybe if they want a Dalvin Cook or they want a different running back, they can go that way or whatnot. So right now, I think the Lions probably are in a little bit of better shape. But again, the picture's incomplete because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow and all that type of stuff. So
and last question before we sign off from Le Bobcat. What do you guys think about Oakland's pick at 24? Genius or dumb? And that was Garyon Conley, the cornerback from Ohio State.
I think it's going to depend on what Conley you're going to get, right? I shouldn't say that. Obviously, what's happening with the investigation is pivotal because depending on how it goes, he might not be available. Now, clearly, teams felt comfortable enough that this isn't going to go in a negative way. And on tape, he seems to be a talented guy. So you kind of just have to trust the system and then see how it goes. It's a position of need for the Raiders, and he could end up being a great player, or he could end up being a bust. I think he'll be a solid corner for the Raiders. I wasn't high on Conley before the whole incident happened.
Right.
A few days ago, I thought he kind of rose up for the wrong reasons, being a measurables guy from the combine, and all that type of stuff.
Cool. All right, guys, I think that is going to do it. That has been our coverage. This is LuZo Productions. That's been our coverage of the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft. It was kind of a doozy. There was definitely some interesting moments there that, really took this thing on a roller coaster of a draft. If you liked what you watched, please please subscribe. We do have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. Both of those are at LuZo Productions. We also have a website at LuZo Productions. And again, if you enjoy sports talk, we do have a weekly podcast called The Lateral that comes out sometime during the week, and where we cover not just the NFL, but all the major sports.
Some basketball, some hockey,
some
baseball. No Quidditch.
Yeah, no Quidditch. Sorry, Sarah.
No.
Maybe someday.
Maybe never.
We'll just make stuff up and be like, oh yeah, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, did you see that ludicrous display last night?
Harry Potter. They're having a laugh. So yes, please please subscribe. We will have in-depth coverage of the entire NFL draft on our next LuZo. Next LuZo Productions podcast episode, The Lateral. That was kind of wordy. And if you like nerdy stuff, check out some of our other things. The LuZo cast. We have other things like sketches and reviews and challenges and all that good stuff. But this has been Krishna. This has been Arjuna. This is LuZo Productions. And
thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Stay tuned. Be
Farewell.
classy, San Diego.